All right, hey, this is Mike, and I'm here with Steve Bumgardner, and we are at my currently my local Barnes & Noble. It's about to become my ex-local Barnes & Noble, but we are here on location. And now, Steve, this is a great earnings report. This is something that's really exciting for me because you've been able to transition over. You have a background in sales. And even in sales training, where you're working with DirecTV, you were kind of a top seller for DirecTV, but you really got bogged down with the kind of the daily grind and stuff like that when it comes to that.
Yeah.
And so you transitioned over to internet marketing. You came on board with me a little more than a year ago, and started doing some stuff with OMG or NHB now, and things have really just skyrocketed for you recently. You built a stable base that started with, we talk about how, in Endgame especially, we talk about how what you want to do is you want to get your foot in the door with, the way we do it is with free traffic.
Right.
And you had a great thing you said about that. I want to touch upon that in a second. And then you use that as a springboard to start, getting paychecks. And from there you can really trade up. Well, you were at the point not that long ago, even a couple months back, where you had gotten your foot in the door, you really bared down, you freaking figured out how to get stuff ranked,
right,
how to get a site up. You did some kind of small-time deals, but that was a good springboard. You and your partner Nick's also an NHBer, were at the point where you guys were bringing in, what was it, around $5,000 a month at that point?
Anywhere between 5 and 7,
okay,
yeah,
so
depending on the affiliate stuff.
So pretty seriously paying the bills.
Yes.
At that point. I would call that where you're really springboarded. You're in the game, and from there you started trading up. Where are you today? Today, what's your monthly income?
As of this week, we're at 40,000.
Wow. So take us through it.
Wow. It's just a matter of getting, like Mike said, getting in the door, getting your foot in, and really just being able to talk the talk and walk the walk, and have the confidence and know that the things that you're learning on NHB are things that actually work and can get you the traffic and get your clients the traffic that they need.
You were just showing me on your computer. You have somebody who's in the you say currency market. I don't want to expose.
That's safe to say. Thank you.
And you're getting him a thousand visitors a day,
yep,
and that's not a big time client. That's not somebody who's paying you $2,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 a month. That was something you used as almost like an internship to kind of get the ball rolling, to get some client action in there.
That's right.
And so how did you, was that one of your first deals?
It was. It was one of our first deals as far as on the bigger scale, on the grander scale. That we had done a few local things. This was a national thing. It's actually a global couple keywords. And he was fighting a long time and trying to do it himself.
How did you meet him?
We met through actually one of our client sites that we ranked. He happened to be looking up, saw the link on the bottom of the site, and sent us an email.
Take us back in time to that client site then. Like, how did your local client sites begin?
Local clients really just began. We tried to do the sell then rank idea, and we found that was a lot tougher than actually ranking something and then selling it or renting it. So we got into that. We had some success with it. We were able to talk a few people into letting us do it for inexpensive, really just kind of parts, not labor, if you will. And with that, we were able to get them ranked. We were able to get them traffic. Then we were able to actually go back, renegotiate,
and make
some money.
A ballpark idea of what you were ranking for and why you decided to rank for it?
As far as the client that he found us on?
Yeah, the client.
I think it was actually a local plumber
okay,
in Charlotte, and he had some issues. He found it. The guy was ranking pretty well, so we were able to get him from that. And to be honest, when you're ranking and if you set it up right, in my experience, if you've got the contact info or something on there that can allow people to get to you, that's huge. We've actually gotten several clients that way.
Wow. So what are you doing with your contact info? Are you putting it in the footer?
Putting it in the footer, really just a link. And in the beginning, the two that we've gotten from that have come from really just us trying to backlink and use our client sites that had PR, use that to actually help us out.
Okay, great. So you're getting yourself a little bit of a
little juice,
a little bit of juice, a little personal blog network action on the side from your clients. It's actually pretty smart on the fly.
Thanks.
And of course, it doesn't harm them at all.
Not at all.
Makes perfect sense.
Web designers do it. Why can't SEOers, right?
Right. Exactly. Okay. Great. So what was making that deal like? So you have a site that's ranked for Charlotte plumbers. What did you do? Just start calling plumbers?
Yeah. Basically.
So how did that go? Was it first, second,
well,
third?
Actually, with the plumber site in Charlotte, what we did was we sent out an email to all the plumbers that were page 2 back, and just said, hey, look, we've got a site on the first page. Whoever calls first gets it. And we just put it to them as simple as that. It wasn't a long sales letter, a bunch of copy. It was, here's the site, here's where it's at, here's how much it costs. Call us if you want it.
What was the cost?
It was $500.
Okay, great. So at that point you're just saying like, look, $500. Let's just get in the game.
That's right.
You know, we've got this skill. Let's get some momentum going here. Let's pay a couple bills.
That's right.
Okay, great. So somebody called you on that, and it was a pretty easy deal.
It was very easy. They got clients. You know, you have the opportunity to get clients today, and that's when you can say something like that to somebody. You know, it makes it very hard for them to say no if they've got the money in their pocket.
Okay, got it. All right. So you close that deal, and then at this point, it's not even so much that you've been getting referrals from that plumber. It's that the site is acting as a referral situation.
Right. Yes.
Okay, great. So that's sort of a nice under the radar tactic. Now, in terms of, so that's how you got your currency client, and then the currency client was you guys, I guess, somebody who's local, and he was searching for plumbing and found that.
That's right.
And then he contacted you and says, hey, can you do SEO for me too?
That's right.
Okay, great. And then what did you charged him? Was it $1,000 for that deal?
Actually, yeah, it was $1,000, and we were able to, but it was once. It wasn't a monthly thing, so it was. We needed a little influx to get a couple tools that we wanted to get. That's how we saw that, and so that's what we took advantage of. Not taking advantage of someone, but we took advantage of the opportunity and said, we'll rank you.
Yeah.
It'll allow us to buy tools with the money you give us.
Well, and it must have given you a lot of confidence because now today you just showed him. Here we are, the 10th day of the month, and he's gotten like 6,000, 7,000 unique visitors.
That's right.
To his website, and it's some pretty competitive stuff. So
yeah.
So I mean, certainly something that you can have plenty of pride.
Well, and it's only getting better. I mean, there's still 3 others that we're cracking up on. We only focused on 3 in the beginning. We've got 2 on the first page. One's coming and going on the first and second, and we've got our big one that is actually triple what we've already got. That's steadily moving up the ranks.
Okay, so you're continuing to work hard for him.
Absolutely.
I definitely respect that. So, okay, so now let's connect the dots to your first big deal. You have a Yellow Pages deal now.
Right.
And it happened kind of in a funny way, but I think it was based on, you had a stable base already. You're plugging along. You're at this point certainly at least cash neutral, right?
Right.
Like, it's paying for your, paying the
pay
bill.
for our tools, pay my electricity, and my
Yeah, okay. And then from there, you really had a big trade up. So you posted on, you posted on LinkedIn?
I posted on LinkedIn.
What did you post on LinkedIn?
Well, I had a rough day, so I went on my profile, and I was tired of being the nice guy, and I do this and I do that on your profile. So I just said, look, if you want to rank, you need to call me. Traffic is business. Instead of going willy-nilly and trying to do this or that, Google has people that are looking for your service right now. You can be in front of your customer in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of a smart aleck about it, and I said, if you want to rank, call me.
How many people are in your LinkedIn network?
About 500.
Okay. I think I even have more than that. So,
yeah.
Although I haven't used LinkedIn much. Have you gotten business before on LinkedIn, or was this your first time?
This was the first time. I've had calls before, but nobody ever closed. And this was actually because of one of my friends or connections on there. He trusted the current client, trusted that guy, and because he was a friend of mine, he gave me the call. He said, I saw you were a smart aleck, I had to talk to you.
Okay, cool.
And that's how the conversation started.
All right, and now this guy is involved with the Yellow Pages company. One of the reasons I love this, one of the NHBers is Becker, Alex Becker,
Yep.
and he actually started with, like, in SEO, he started working for an SEO firm and really realized that they were struggling. Like, that their technology and their ability to rank was pretty weak. They were outsourcing a bunch of what they were doing.
Right.
And so he actually got his foot in the door. He started trading up, springboarding and trading up by ranking for stuff like Yellow Pages, for SEO, for local SEO companies.
Right.
And it's kind of a counterintuitive thing to approach an SEO company and say, hey, I can do for you what you can't do for yourself. But it turned out that worked for you.
I've actually got a couple of SEO companies that I work with too.
Okay, can you talk about that?
Sure. One of them is he wants to rank for all over, and this is a young kid. He's 25 years old. He's made a couple $1 million, but he's done it with selling hosting. And in October or so, he decided he wanted to get in the SEO business. So he started launching a bunch of SEO stuff, brought on a bunch of cheap customers, and wasn't able to do anything with it. So they started falling off like flies. And he happened to call me. Another site he saw, and I can't think of which one it was, but anyway, he ended up giving me a call. And we talked, and I said, look, let's partner together. If you want to, I'll hook you up with your SEO site, which we're getting him rankings in several of the bigger cities in the country. But the people that you bring on, let's funnel through us.
Okay.
And so it's been a slow road. We brought him on actually right at the end, middle of May, so right when the update happens, the most recent Penguin 2.0. And so instead of getting him as far as we did, the pages we were in control of stayed where they were. The rest of his pages fell back some hundreds of positions.
Right.
For instance, he had Colorado Springs SEO. He was number 6 for. Now he's number 400. So
right.
we actually kept what it was where it needed to be, and now we're steadily increasing it there. So, there are a lot of SEO companies out there that are just SEO companies. They're not any more advanced than a lot of people.
Yeah, it would sort of be like saying I'm going to own a restaurant, but I'm not really a food person.
Right.
And so if you're a chef, then you've got something to trade with.
Well, there's a lot of people that say they own a business for the ego of it, and that's purely money aside.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a big factor. So now, what did you do to close? Like obviously, it wasn't. This guy didn't just say, "Wow, you got swagger on LinkedIn. Let me write you a check for $25,000 a month."
Right.
There was obviously like a lot of negotiation stuff like that. Let's get into that because I think that stuff really matters. A lot of people can get in a position where they're in a negotiation, but things will fall apart and they don't know why.
Right.
Why do you think that deal worked out?
Well, it worked out because they knew I had their best interest at heart. It actually started at a $5,000 deal. By the time it was done, it was $25,000.
So what was the progression?
The progression was just what they wanted and what their expectations were, and what I felt I could give them. And the CEO of the company and I clicked right away. It was just one of those things where we were easy to talk to. We had good conversations, and we talked. He'd been looking for someone for a year to change this because he knows the yellow pages are dying and wants, obviously, to keep his position. So they knew they needed to transition the business. So he'd been looking for the last year. We clicked. He called, and that was really how it started. Based on what he wanted, I put together a little package for him. Said, "This is what I can do for this much money."
So what did he want?
He wanted, in the Northeast, that's where they are, he wanted 25 cities to be ranked for multiple headings, like in a yellow page. So lawyer, dentist, fencing, those kind of things.
Okay, great. And so originally you bid that out at $5,000, or was that when you jumped to the $20,000?
Well, it started at 15 markets, and then it moved to, now it's much more than that.
Okay, great.
So I just basically made the package bigger.
Okay, so you just said, hey, while you're at this, why don't you let me do this?
Right. Their market was much bigger than what he had offered.
Yeah.
And I said, look, if I'm going to do this, it's actually going to help us.
Yeah.
If we have more, it's going to make.
Did you show him any of your sites to help him understand your expertise?
I showed him the financial one I showed you, and gave him his number for a reference.
Nice. Did he call?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
And he said, you know what? He said they talked about your integrity and that you did what you said you were going to do, and to me that's huge.
Internship.
The CEO is he's an old Marine, so and I was in the military, so we just had that kind of connection. And so we got the numbers right. He liked them. He'd been looking for a year. He put it to his board of directors. Then they called me, wanted to meet me. I drove to Virginia, met with the board of directors, and 5 minutes after I walked out of the room.
What was that like? What was the meeting with the board of directors like?
Being on trial.
Okay. What were some of the questions that they asked you?
How long have you been doing it? What are you doing? How would you do this? The thing is with them, they didn't know the first thing about SEO. So they're only going by a couple of SEO people that work for them. Mm-hmm. And, just like we just talked about, Mike, there's certain SEO people that have the job that don't know what they're doing.
Right.
So, I was afraid of that. And I let the CEO know that, look, if they start asking me questions and I give you a little tap, every question they started with was, we heard that, this helps, or we've heard that this is bad, or this, that, and the
right.
other.
So, which is kind of an odd thing for an expert to say.
Right. So that's what we're talking about.
So you tried to insulate the CEO's expectations.
Exactly. That's what I feel is a big part of it. Absolutely. Managing the expectations. A lot of people think you just push a button with SEO and it just happens.
Right.
They don't realize you've got to spend money on the PBRs or the PBNs and that kind of stuff.
So how did you manage their expectations? What kind of timing did you make any promises, guarantees?
No. No. In fact, in the agreement that we've got, it actually expressly says we make no guarantee of any type of rank or anything like that.
But there's performance incentive that's significant.
Significant, yeah. In fact, when everything goes right, we've got it set up to where month 13 we double, and month 25 we double again.
To 50,000 and then 100,000.
50 and then 100,000 a month. Yep.
Okay, that's extraordinary. Congratulations on
Thank
that. So let's talk about the latest deal. You just closed another $12,000 deal. Is that right?
That's right.
All right. So what's the scoop?
The scoop is this guy saw us. We had a client in Virginia who's a sales management trainer. We had him ranked number 1, 2, and 3
For sales management training.
Sales management training.
Ooh, that's a good one.
What
was he paying you?
He was a friend of mine. It was another one of those $1,000 jobs. Really, just to have the experience and to have the reference.
Internship.
Absolutely.
Very nice.
So,
and it gives you a model home.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we got him 1, 2, and 3, and we did him for multiple keywords. Again, gave him the reference and said, hey, here's what it is. He saw us there. Again, went to the bottom, clicked our link, and went to our page, and he called and he said, look, you guys obviously know what you're doing. You're number 1, 2, and 3.
So he called your sales manager friend as a reference?
No, he called me.
He called you, but did you give your
But
sales
yeah,
manager?
he's got it. Yeah,
Did
absolutely.
you give him as a reference?
He didn't even call him.
Okay, that's interesting.
He saw we were number 1, 2, and 3 already. I didn't.
Now
have
you
to sell
said
him.
this guy was a real math guy by the books. They're already spending a lot of money on, and you actually, in NHB, you talked to me about this a little bit about the deal as it was going down.
Right.
This is a company where they're already spending a lot of money in print ads and in pay-per-clicks.
Multiple six figures.
Yeah, and so you were able to say, like, look, let me get you a search presence going, and then it was a pretty hard-nosed negotiation.
It was. It was, sometimes you've got to tell people what they don't want to hear, and that was the position that I was in. He thought everything of the world of his group of people that were doing his magazines, his pay-per-click, he thought they were doing more than they were for the SEO, and they just weren't, and I had to be the guy to tell him that.
Okay, so what you did was you showed him that there was big opportunity out there in the natural search results.
Huge.
Tens of thousands of searches a month.
Yeah.
That he was missing out on.
Absolutely. For a fraction of the cost he was paying.
For a fraction, and how were you able to articulate that?
Literally, I just told him, look, in a worst case scenario, if we get you on the front page and you get 10% of your traffic, and we get 10% of that converts, you're still at 700. It was almost 800 sales a month, which is astronomical. And so at that point he said, okay. And I said, and now here's the thing. I said, the higher we go, you're probably looking at more like between 50 and 80% of clicks. So, multiply that by 5 to 8, and that's where we'll actually be. And here's where we're at. And it was actually about 20% of what he was paying for PPC. For double the traffic.
So one of the things is that you're real happy to go with the client's metrics, to look at the playing field that he's playing on.
Absolutely.
And say, look, you're comfortable with paying for traffic.
Right.
Let's talk about what you're paying for. Let's talk about what you're getting out of it. How many clicks a day are you getting out of this? You're spending $70,000 a month on pay-per-clicks, or $80,000 a month, or whatever it is.
Yep.
How many clicks are you getting off of that? How many sales are you getting off of that? And you're able to paint a model for him where you're able to say, look, I'm going to be able to get you this kind of volume, or even maybe even more, and for a fraction of the cost, and still convert great.
Well, and the great thing is the financial client that I have, he actually, their numbers just about match up as far as search volume and stuff, so I can show him that for, say, 70,000 searches a month.
So you're able to kind of go apples to apples.
Absolutely,
in that situation.
absolutely.
And that was real exciting for him.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. He didn't. He came on strong, and once I came back strong and said, "Look, here's the way it works."
Now, when you said he came on strong, like what did he offer? Like
he just tried to be a bully, and it's a lot of customers will try to walk on you and see where you're going to push back, and they'll try to get something for nothing.
So what did he offer you?
He offered me like $5,000 to do 10 times what we're actually doing for 3 times the money now.
Okay, great. So ultimately, you came back and said, "No, pay me $12,000," and then you set the bar much lower than he had set it.
That's right.
Okay, great. Well, I really want to express my appreciation. You drove 3 hours to come out and share this earnings report in person for us to share lunch, and I had a lot of fun. I'm really proud of what you and Nick are doing. I think it's awesome, and it's really clear to me that you guys just did it right. Like you built from the bottom up. You just said, like, look, I'm going to get this skill down of SEO. I'm going to, I get it. I'm not the first time I watch a video, it's not going to click. Maybe the third time it won't click, but eventually, if I just do it and keep going for it, I can get something that truly has real world value.
Absolutely. Well, when you watch something over and over again, and especially with you and Greg, that the fact is that your knowledge gets bigger, so that when you watch them again, you catch things that you just didn't know were there before to see. So the more you watch, the more you read. I mean, it's just, you see something every time.
All right. Well, we really appreciate you coming out. And we always say that our OMGers and NHBers, we say it's a city on a hill, and our members are not just grateful, which you have been, but also incredibly generous. I think that this will be an inspiration point for the next guy. I mean, I'm sure you enjoyed some of our earnings reports as you were kind of coming up, and some of the guys like maybe Martin or Fletch or somebody.
Yeah.
And now somebody's gonna be looking at you and just be like, man, I'm gonna be like Steve. I'm gonna get the job done.
That's right.
So thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks, Mike.
8 o'clock in the morning. All right. Well, I am here. I am so honored to be here with Trish and Andrew. Is it Rydell or is that? Am I saying it right? Riedel. It's a great. It's awesome. So now, what part of the world are you guys coming in from?
We live on the Gold Coast, which is an hour south of Brisbane on the east coast.
Yeah, I've been to Sydney. I loved it. It's just so gorgeous. It's so gorgeous there. And it's funny because I was talking to another. Y'all are NHBers. I was talking to another OMGer named Rich, and he was down on the Gold Coast, and he said that there was a bunch. It got built up for a while there, but then things kind of died down a little bit in terms of growth and so forth. But maybe that's not really neither here nor there. That's just the last thing I heard about the Gold Coast.
It is. It's very much a tourist destination. We've got some of probably the best beaches in the world, but we also have a really big construction industry, and so tourism has been a bit quiet recently, and construction's been quiet. So yeah, economically the Gold Coast has been suffering for the last probably 2 or 3 years. It's sort of starting to come back. We're going to have the Commonwealth Games in 2018, so it's starting to make things happen. But yeah, a lot of businesses here have been doing it really tough.
Yeah. And now that's funny. I mean, not funny. Of course, we all feel for them. But when I looked on your Skype thing, I think that your away messages "Ain't life grand" or something like that.
Well, it is.
Well, that's good. Well, please tell me about it. Tell me about your own little private Black Ops SEO operations. What do you guys got going on?
Well, as you say, we do have an SEO operation going. That's the way it started, Mike, but over the last couple of years, 2.5, 3 years, it's evolved into a lot more than that. So we do website design, we manage PPC, AdWords, and all sorts of other good things. Just
the two of you. That's so surprising. Seems like you should have.
We've got a team of VAs. We've got 2 almost full time, and then we've got 4 or 5 who've got various skills who do a lot of backup work for us.
That's awesome. Well, take me inside, because I think that that's so smart. One of the things I really want people to know about is the importance of not just doing SEO, just traditional SEO with just setting up the website, that you can do the local listings for people, you can do YouTube for them, you can do pay-per-clicks for them, you can make their websites look great. Heck, you could even do print advertising. I mean, you can just do anything they need, list building. So the more stuff you add on, the more valuable, more invaluable you make yourself.
Exactly, and it's all that if they're spending money, they might as well spend it with us.
Nice, and you'll do a better job. I mean, really, what else are they going to get out there? I mean, let me ask you this: for most of your clients, if they weren't with you, where do you think they would be? Who do you think they would be spending their money with? I'm just kind of curious.
Well, they'd probably be spending their money with somebody in another state who doesn't give a rat's, won't finish the rest of that about their business, or they'll be outsourcing it to some person overseas who doesn't care about their business. What they get with us is they get personal attention. They get a whole wide range of things from us. Trish was a business consultant before we started out in the SEO business, so we can offer them a huge range of services that the average SEO who is sitting in a back office, they'll only get an account manager anyway. They'll never have met that person. They rarely communicate with that person. They get a report that they can't understand, and that's it.
Yeah, it's a bunch of garbage. So how did you begin to acquire clients? Because that's one of the biggest sore spots that people have getting started.
I think what happened was, as Andrew said, I was working for another organisation as a business consultant, and trying to bring on clients was really tough because despite the fact that if you sell something for $1 and it costs you $1.01, you're in deep trouble.
Yeah.
Most of these businesses thought the answer to everything was more clients, and that wasn't necessarily the case, but that was the service that they wanted. And Andrew was already doing some SEO for some, we were out there trying to do our affiliate sites and that sort of thing, and he was getting quite good at it. So I left and we started up our own business and offering what they wanted. They wanted more clients, and that's the road we went down. Do you want to talk about our first non-paying client?
Yeah, I would love to hear
What
about
got
it.
started, Michael, is that a friend of our son was a chiropractor in a small town in New South Wales, only an hour or so from here.
Mm-hmm.
And so we offered to build him a website and rank it for free.
Mm-hmm.
That was our service to him, and it also gave us an entree into the SEO business. So we were able to very quickly dominate his industry in his town, and so that in some search terms we had 7 or 8 listings on the first page.
Awesome.
So we took screenshots of his rankings, and then we sort of flogged them around town at networking events, which we'll talk to you about later, and as our proof that we could do SEO. Now, we had a hell of a lot to learn at that point, but that was a good start. We carried those screenshots around. We laminated them and everything.
I love it. Oh, I love that. I love that laminated. That's a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
But nothing like first class.
So, and then we just stopped taking them because our confidence grew. We had confidence in our own ability. And in the meantime, we were out networking at networking events and meeting people and gradually acquiring new clients that way.
So what would that look like? Let's say it was in those early days. And now, what kind of a networking event would you go to? Like a chamber of commerce, that kind of thing?
Also, you have to remember this is 2.5 years before OMG, Michael.
Yeah. No, I know.
We went to Chamber of Commerce. We joined the Chamber of Commerce. One of the things we did do, we went to quite a few networking events and checked them out. But one of the things we did, which was key, was we joined I don't know whether you have them in the States. They're a BNI. They're like a referral-based networking. So they only have one of each business in them. So we were the only SEO business, and people, it's almost mandatory that you have to bring referrals every week. So we were actually in 2 of those, and we grew a lot from those 2 exclusive type networking events because people actually were bringing us leads and recommending us, and so it grew quite quickly from there.
Yeah, I mean, word of mouth can be so important, especially if people think that word of mouth should just happen on its own, but that's not really the way it is. I mean, really, word of mouth happens because you want it to, because you focus on getting that word of mouth generated.
Absolutely. And so we looked after the people within the networking groups extremely well and did a great job. So they were happy to refer us. So
I love that.
If that happened, we made sure that we were doing an awesome job for those people so they were comfortable in referring us. So that was more important than just general networking, just going to different functions. Just
another word on networking, Michael, is that we, the Chamber of Commerce had an event, a 2-day event, where people could go and set up a stand and talk to any visitors that came by. We elected not to spend the money on a stand, but we chose to go and do the rounds and talk to all the businesses at the event. And we made one contact there that has just given us an enormous amount of business in the meantime. So we worked on his site, got his site to #1, and now he's referring all his clients, and he happens to be a business coach.
That's great.
So he's got a lot of clients. He insists that they all do SEO.
Yeah.
So where do they come to us?
I love that. And you, I want to highlight something that you said that I think is brilliant and very astute of you, is so many people want to get referrals, and Joe Marfolio talked about this when we talked to Joe. Joe's another NHBer. if you want to get referrals, you better be giving referrals. You better be connecting, get like the golden rule, do unto others as you want done unto you.
Correct. And that's the whole idea of networking, the sort of networking that we do. There's a lot of networking you can do that's completely useless, Michael, but the ones that are based on referral giving and getting, they're the ones that work, and they work well. If they're professionally run, they work very, very well.
So you'd really recommend, like, not so much, the old idea of throwing your pearls before the swine. It's not that you guys were taking a shotgun approach to things. You were much more targeted and focused on the quality of the groups that you were meeting with, that you're really carefully vetting a situation before you're walking in. You're being strategic about it too. You pointed out that that for instance, at one of these events where you could have set up a stand, common wisdom would have been that you're better off setting up a stand, paying the money and setting up, having a set up stand. What you did instead was you worked the room. You kept on your feet, which but I think that's smart, because what it points to, the underlying idea that I want to highlight, and Greg and I think so much of you too. You're such an enormous, and I know any NHB are watching this is going to be like, yeah, these guys are great. Like, I mean, whenever you guys speak, it's great, and I think it's very important, because the underlying premise of what you're saying is that creativity matters. Like, really going in and pouring your creative juice into things. You're not just sitting there saying, "Okay, I'm here. Come and bring me money." How much money am I going to make? Like, you're obviously taking a much more proactive approach. And one of the things I think is exciting for maybe for another NHBer watching this right now. Of course, I'm sure that they admire the two of you are able to work as a team. May I ask you to talk a little bit about how you work as a team and some of the ways that you've learned? Because I love that you guys started. Andrew, you acquired that skill, and I talk about it all the time, how affiliate really does lead into local, and they really work together. But you started as an affiliate marketer. You're getting your SEO chops up. Trish, you're doing the consulting side of things and seeing. Each of you were seeing some things that were lacking in what you were doing, and you joined forces. And can you just talk a little bit about ways that you've learned to work together, and even advice that you'd have for snookering your husband or wife into come in and join you, or just I'm just kind of curious, because I think that it's such a valuable thing. I was talking to Kathy, who does a bunch of outsourcing for Greg. And it's such an important thing for her. Her husband doesn't work with her, but at least he's very supportive of her. And he does eBay and stuff like that. So they kind of go back and forth. But I just think that having somebody with you, also with David Mills, his wife does all of our accounting. She does a lot of our customer service. So I'm just kind of curious if you all would care to share any advice or tips for couples and for working together in the trenches, and also just what you've learned. I mean, because I personally find that valuable, and I'm curious.
Well, we've been married for 31 years in May, so we've been together for a little while.
Wow.
And we've actually been in business together on and off for 26 years.
26, yeah.
For about 26 years. So we've had a few different businesses. So this is not the beginning of us working together. We've been working together for a very long time. I think the secret is that we each have our roles. Mm-hmm. It's very much treated like a business. We have I'm sort of the accountant bookkeeper side of things, and I do a lot of the web development and all the on-page SEO, and Andrew does most of the off-page SEO, the videos and the video marketing. So we have quite distinct roles. We have we have a really good working relationship. We don't seem to step on each other's toes at all. In the main, because we have those separated roles, it's a lot easier. I think what happens with a lot of couples is they're both trying to do everything rather than creating a proper structure within their business at home. This might be a business where we work at home, but it is structured properly. that probably comes from my business consulting. Andrew was asked at a networking event just before Christmas how many people have proper budgets in place, and he was the only one who put up his hand. All the other businesses there didn't have that. So I think treating it like a business and running it like a business is one of the successes. We also template everything as much as we can, so we've got systems in place so as much as possible everything runs smoothly.
I don't really have a lot to add to that. We just have a lot of experience of working together, Michael, and it just works. I think the real key is the separation of the roles. Trish does the web design, I do the SEO. So, I've got to say that the web design is becoming more and more important. When we started 2.5 years ago, SEO was worth about 5% of the total. The on-page was worth about 5% of the SEO. Now it's 40 to 50% of what we do. It's just become so important.
Yeah, on-page is critical. Yeah.
I think the other thing that we do is that we're always learning together. So we watch the OMG videos together. We're progressing in the same way at the same pace, I suppose. Andrew's not off learning the backlinking and off-page stuff, and I'm not learning the on-page stuff. We're both learning both, so I think we have a much better understanding of each other's roles.
And then we just have this philosophy, Michael, is that if it's got to be done, we get it done.
I love that. I got to tell you, there's such a richness. Boy, I could go on for a while in all the value I think that you've provided just in a few short minutes there. I'll point to a couple of highlights for me, and I think this is moving. I think this is extremely valuable. So I want to just throw out a thank you in the middle of things here. For one thing, when you're saying treat a business like a business, one of the things I've learned, I have a really close friendship with David Mills and with Greg Morrison. And one of the things I've learned is that when you have a good friendship with someone you're working with in business, then that doesn't mean that you can slough off on your friendship or you can slough off on your business. You hear people say, don't do business with family or don't do business with friends. Well, it can be very rich and rewarding to do so, but the cost is you have to have a high standard for both. You have to have a high standard both in your, in this case, in your romantic relationship, in your marriage, or with a high standard with your friendship, and you have to be high caliber in your business relationship, and then everything really, really clicks. So I think that's critical. I think another thing that you said that's just brilliant, I love what Andrew just said, that you learn each other's jobs, but then the jobs are separate, right? So like you understand what she's, what Trish is doing with the on-page and with the web design. It's not some big black box to you, right? Because one of the hidden things to, really, of course, it's so important and powerful to be acknowledged. Recognition is one of the things. I mean, for human beings, like once you're past the level of survival, you want recognition if you're doing a good job with something. And how can you be recognized by somebody who doesn't know what you're doing? Like if they don't have an understanding of what you're doing, how can they appreciate what you're doing? And so, for Trish, like obviously, if Andrew, if you figured out a whole new way, great way of getting links, and that's firing in juice into your sites, if she understands what that means and the value of that, then that's great. It really means something. So I think that's, a really, a couple of powerful things. There's much more that you said that was really great, but I think that was tremendous, generous. Also, I appreciate it because, of course, you're talking about personal matters here. So kind of I additionally appreciate that. Now, can you talk to me about the growth path of your business and if you were starting fresh now, how you might do it? Because, all right, so you're going back. Did you say you guys started into SEO consulting about 2.5 years ago, which is obviously about 2 years before OMG started?
Correct.
Yes.
And then, so what was the growth path of your business? So first, you get a case study. You've got your laminated. I love that, by the way. It's a great example. You've got an example that you can carry around. You go.
I'm almost embarrassed to tell you that story, Michael.
I love it. I got to tell you, I think that's brilliant. I think it's absolutely brilliant. It's such a good idea. And like you said, like you build up confidence, and after a while, you didn't even need it. Do you still have that laminated sheet around somewhere? Do you keep it?
It is here somewhere. It survived a few moves. The other thing that was going on in the background that we haven't mentioned is that we built our an EMD site for our own business. It's called SEO Gold Coast.
May I look it up, please? Is that okay?
Sorry.
May I look it up on Google while you're talking?
Yeah, sure. SEO-goldcoast.com.au.
Okay. Now this is pretty awesome. I'm not even in the Australian listings. I'm actually in the global. So I'm not even in Google.com.au. I'm actually just in Google, and y'all are showing up number one in Google, in the overall Google. It's brilliant.
We normally. It took us a while to get that ranking, and then nearly a year ago, with the Google algorithm updates, we were hit with a penalty, about a 2-page penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Then it took a few more months to get it back. But we generally rank somewhere between 1 and 4, and in recent times it's been 1.
Yeah.
And that's with Greg's, just following Greg's system. It really made the difference for us.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, and I mean, this I would imagine that this is pretty valuable as an SEO consultant to have.
So if anyone's out there wanting to know how to get started, that's the first thing they should do. They should put, the proof is in the pudding, as they say. If you're number 1 or in the top 3, you can have that conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
And the quicker you can get up there and get that site ranked, if you want to go after the local market, the better. We have people ring. We had a guy ring yesterday who's a graphic designer, and he said, I need someone to help me with the whole SEO thing, and I thought I'd go to the best, and you must be because you're at the top.
I love it. Yeah.
Me too.
Well, and
I'll meet him this afternoon, actually. So if he's designing websites for a whole stack of people, which I hope he is, then we get all that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, to answer your question, for someone starting out, I'd absolutely do it. If you're after the local market and not an affiliate, I'd absolutely go and do what we did. Every SEO, every business in this area we're in gets a phone call or an email 3 times a week from an SEO company. They're over it. They think they're all charlatans, and they don't trust any of them. So it's a tough industry in terms of just getting on the phone and ringing businesses.
Yeah.
You've got to have some credibility, and having that number 1 spot or on the top 3 is massive credibility in the local market, and the fact that you're a local person, people will then start to talk to you. But I would do a freebie for somebody, something that's easy, not hard, something you can get ranked in 2 or 3 weeks. Same thing, take out your computer. Back in those days, we didn't really have much of an internet stick or iPads and that sort of thing. Take out your laminated, or these days your computer, prove that it's there, show them what the listing is and show them what you can do, and go networking. And a lot of people don't want to go networking because they're scared. There's nothing worse than walking into a room with a whole heap of people you've never met. But the secret that we've found is that, and a lot of people don't know what to say, but the secret that we've found is it's the old ask them about themselves and they'll just talk forever. And then you can make a time to make a meeting with them and talk to them about your product. So, it takes a bit of courage, but if you're going to be in business, you have to have a bit of courage. It's never going to be a nice, smooth path. But that local networking will get you out of the pack of the people who are trying to contact them and make you a human face. And that's what it took for us, and that's how I would do it again if I was starting all over again. I'd probably maybe even do more networking than we did. One of the things we've talked about and we haven't done yet is, well, we've done it once, is something that Gary talked about, is go and try and do presentations to groups, because it's way easier because then you're the guru at the front. But if that's too daunting, just be one of the people in the room.
Yeah.
In terms of something else that happened early on, and it was a mindset change for us, was that because the economy here at that time, we were lucky enough to get to the Gold Coast just after the boom and when it had crashed, so it wasn't a great time.
Yeah.
And all the businesses said, I have no money, I can't afford to buy a product, buy your product. And I've got to say, I bought into that. mindset. And then one day I was with a client, no money, and they desperately needed our services. And I found out about 2 weeks later they'd spent $2,000 on something. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was never going to bring them a client, and because they were a smart talker and I wasn't. So from that moment, I decided that no money was never going to run with me again. They all have got money, they've got it somewhere, and they're going to spend it. So I made the decision that they would be far better off to spend it with me because I was going to look after them, and with Andrew because he was going to look after them, than with the charlatans who are fast talkers who seem to be able to get that money out of them. And that changed our business. Just changing that mindset completely changed our business. And something else happened at the same time, which I really want to pass on, is that we, after we've had a meeting, we have a follow-up email, and we do what we call or we were taught it, an MIA. It stands for Motivation, Information and Action. And we write an email to these people with the motivation about...
turning the knife.
Yep. We've met you. We know you need to get more leads. We can get that for you. Can you imagine what your
You're on
business is going to
page
be
100 of Google.
Yep.
You know, it's got to be hurting you.
Yep.
No clients.
And
Turn
what
the knife, twisted.
Yeah, we do, and motivate them so they're all excited about what will happen if they take us on. The information is what we're actually going to do for them, so the more detail. And the action is, I've got a little templated thing called Your Next Steps, and I ask for the money, basically. I give them your next step is to sign the contract, send it back to me. Here's
Give
my
them
bank.
3 ways of paying.
3 ways of paying. And
What are the 3 ways?
PayPal, credit card, and bank transfer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I give them the PayPal link, our bank account details and everything else, and we have had a 100% conversion off those emails. So
What?
they are powerful.
When you say 100%, like, what is that? How many out of how many?
Well, this is follow-ups to meetings, so, I mean, it's not huge numbers. We're probably talking 15, 20 meetings that we've followed up with.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that anybody would go for 15 out of 15. I mean, that's what an incredible feeling.
It's just amazing. There's one hanging out there at the moment.
There's another yes coming this morning.
But it's like, it's being brave enough to ask for the money as well. Here's your next step. This is what you do. Because people don't know what to do. So we've decided that we're going to tell them.
Yeah. Oh, this is just brilliant. And I think your confidence is infectious. And, also having things just be, like you said, I just want to kind of highlight one thing here is that your confidence is reality-based. I mean, you have the reality. You have that on your side. You have the skill. You've done it again and again. You're leveraging. You're templating. I'd like to know a little bit more about your templating because I think that's going to be something else that's additionally valuable for an NHB who's watching this right now, saying, well, what templates are you putting together? What does that mean? But all these systems, the systems that you have working together, dividing your labor between the two of you as business partners. The way that you have systems with your outsourcers, the way that you have results to point to like SEOGoldCoast.com.au. These are all things, me and David Mills and Greg, we really, try to have just such a weight of reality on our side that there's not too much convincing to do, with people. Like, I mean, either they want a better life or they don't, and it's I mean, that's it. There's not much more to it. So can you talk to me more about the templating? Because that really sparked some excitement for me. Like,
just before I do that, you talk about our confidence. We didn't really have that level of confidence until we got into OMG. We sort of knew what we were doing, but we didn't, and we
were bluffing our way through, Michael. We'd learned a hell of a lot. I had a severe case of shiny object syndrome, most of which 95% of which I don't use anymore. But we learned a hell of a lot along the way. And OMG really just put it all together for us.
So it gave us the confidence. And these days, if Greg does it, we do it. If Greg doesn't do it, we don't do it. And we get the same, well, not the same sort of results that he gets. And that's what's given us the ultimate confidence to go out there. Because what we say now is they don't have a choice. They need us. They have to hire us because there's so many people out there who don't know what they're doing.
They might be broke, or they say they're broke. They're going to spend their money with somebody. Hey, why shouldn't it be us?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to pass that on and pass on to Greg that, it's been an enormous change in our business thanks to all the work that he's done to get his business where it is, because it has. It's just been awesome. It's taken our confidence level through the roof.
Now, Trish is the queen of templates. It took me a while to get into
And
system,
let me just give a quick testimonial back. I can't wait to hear about the templates. Let me just give a quick testimonial back. Trish, I remember when 6 months ago when we first released OMG, and we got an early testimonial from you when you were just getting inside of things, and there was something, it really stayed with me, and I was like, man, that's really cool, because you sound like you kind of know what you're doing and you're involved, but you're still feeling, you're picking up what we're putting out there, and it really felt great. I mean, it felt exciting, and I want you guys to know that your testimonials have really helped us as well. It helps provide us with confidence and enjoyment of much more enjoyment of what we're doing as well. So I just wanted to throw that thank you out to both of you as well.
Yeah, cool. We have total trust that what OMG NHB says is real.
And the contribution from
The group.
The group is absolutely awesome. I don't want to pull anybody's name out in particular, but there's some Aussies on the group who do a fantastic job.
Oh, yeah.
As does everybody else. And the interaction and the contributions from everybody from around the globe, I can't leave the UK out either. It's just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Anyways, I apologize. You had that grin on your face, Andrew. You were getting ready to talk about Trish and templating. So as much as possible, I want to put you back in that state.
Trish has been templating for years. We work with a lot of outsourcers, and they come and go. You get a good one. They'll work great for 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, and then something will happen. They'll get another job, or they'll just go off the boil. And training a new VA, a new outsourcer, can be a pain in the butt. And if you haven't got templates for absolutely everything that you hand over to an outsourcer, you're crazy. Just for instance, recently I've been able to clear some space on my desk and in my head to get more blog commenting done. So the first thing I did is I put a template together. Then I went to Odesk and put a job on. About 150 people applied for the job. I hired 5 as a test, and 2 of them actually did any work. Then I hired both of them as permanent blog commenters, and now in week 3, one of them is going off the boil. So I've doubled the workload for my number 1 guy, and I'll go forward with him. So, but it all started with a template. This is what I want you to do. This is how I want you to go about it. And I'm just using dropmylink.com. And I showed him, he'd never heard of the site. He'd done a lot of blog commenting before. And this is a Pakistani guy. He's got great English. His comments are fantastic. And he's getting interaction from webmasters. His comments are so good that he's not only getting them moderated, but people are replying to him.
So you've got someone who's really engaging with, and this is one of the things that we teach inside of OMG. It's so critical, is to provide value. Really what you're doing is hiring somebody to go out to people's blogs and actually provide value, really consume their content and actually interact. And he probably has fun doing it.
Correct. He has not written the same comment twice. His comments are all unique to the point of the blog, and that was part of my instructions. You've got to pick something out of the post to comment on, or pick more than one thing if you want. I don't care, as long as you're doing a quality job. I haven't asked for quantity at all. I think if there's one thing in the last 6 months for me, it's been quality over quantity. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, it all started with the template.
Well, and so what does the template look like? Are these Camtasia videos that you record for people, or are they documents?
It's a Word document. But
Okay.
I really like to hand over to Trish. As the queen of templates, she has a lot to contribute.
Absolutely.
And I think I've done enough, Michael.
Yeah.
Oh, what Andrew admitted to say is this guy has been getting quite high PR blog comments as well. So
Nice.
he's turning into an awesome one of our team. Templates for us can be anything from a Word document to an Excel spreadsheet to a Camtasia video. So it depends on what the project is. I've got a template for setting up the back end of a website that's on an Excel spreadsheet. I've got a template for adding articles to websites that's actually on a Word document. It's just a list of all the questions, like what URL I want, what's the main keyword, what else? What images I want, where I want them linked to. And so I just can quickly fill those in and then send that off with the article, and one of the team can load it on, and it's all done properly. We check everything. The VAs and the team know that everything gets checked. I actually have a folder in each of their Dropbox. We use Dropbox, and so I'll have new tasks folder, and within that I've got a to be checked. And so the process is, they're taught the process is once they've completed the task to Skype us, and then move the task into the to be checked. So I go in and check it and make any comments or get back to them or anything, or move it into the completed. Yeah, so they know everything gets checked, and I think that's crucial too when you're looking after your staff. So yeah, templating is anything that will save us time and make it easy for the outsourcers to do the work and do it perfectly.
One of the templates that I created, Michael, was for loading articles onto Web 2.0 properties.
Yeah.
And then creating a PDF out of that article, and also creating a PowerPoint presentation out of that article, which we then go onto Fiverr and turn into a video, which we load onto YouTube. So it's a whole process that it takes me literally 3 minutes to fill in the details, the keywords, the generic keywords, the URLs that I want, the images that I want, the video that I want loaded onto the article. It takes me less than 5 minutes to set up the template, shoot it off to the VA, and then they go and do the work.
And then you
I don't have to worry about it.
And then you double check it. And I think that
Oh, absolutely.
so let me highlight a few brilliant things that you guys are saying. And really, this is pure platinum. I'm just couldn't be. I guess gold is better nowadays. So gold. This is pure gold. This is pure gold. Gold at a historic high against platinum right now. So so the thing is, a couple things. One, you'll hear me say this again and again. Now is the time for me to say it. People respect what you inspect. And if you are double checking, then that sends a signal to your outsourcers that it matters, that it's important. I mean, obviously, it just sends so many important signals to them. It shows that you care about it. It's just extremely important. I actually just sent out a broadcast message like a minute or so before we met to the OMG list. And one of the things I was talking about is a project that me and David Mills are working on with Jonathan Green, and Jonathan has a friend named Emily, and Emily's making these videos for us and these articles. And I was training her, doing some outsourcing training for her, one-on-one. We were just talking, and I let her know that all of the videos that she created, I would personally watch, and I would personally care about them. And it really made a big difference to her. You could really hear her light up. So I will watch each of them, and I will care. And
you'll like them, you'll comment on them.
Yeah. I mean, what she's going to send me. What I mean is the output. So she's done creating the video. She sends me the MP4 before we ever put it up on YouTube or whatever. Okay. I will watch it, and as I'm watching it, I promise her that I will care. I like that. Yeah, I think it really matters, and the reality is, I do. You know, I mean, just like I pray for NHBers every day, I pray for her every day. You know, like why wouldn't I? She's, you know, now an important part of my life. Then it's just ridiculous for me not to. You know, I mean, again, people respect what you inspect. If I don't see myself double checking her video, then I am sending myself the signal that I don't care about that video, right? So it really is either, with all these things. One of the things I want to highlight right now in your invaluable discussion here about templating is that this is the part of our, you know, interaction here between the three of us that's all about either an upward spiral of success or all about a downward spiral of decay. And, you know, like, for instance, it would be like, what if I just hadn't had this with you guys? I mean, what a crying shame that would be. I mean, what a crying shame. You know, like, for me, this is valuable. For any, you know, hopefully for you guys, it's valuable. For anybody watching it, it's crazy. You know, I mean, you know, this is, so again, it's about an upward spiral or a downward spiral. Now, on templating, you've got to train somebody in the first place, right? They have to be trained. You can't just hire somebody and hope that they'll run your business, right? Like, that's crazy. So at the point where you're going to train them, once again, it's either an upward spiral of success or it's a downward spiral of decay. You either make sloppy instructions that you hope work and then get disorganized and lose them, or you make clear-cut focused instructions that are going to be helpful, and then you properly store them, right? Like, that's it, you know? And you know, presumably you hone them and update them over time. And,
Yeah.
and again, you guys care. Like, you care. Like, I could see you're caring in what you said about the blog comments. You know, the example of the blog commenter, that he's getting high PR links and he's getting interaction. You two are both clearly proud of him. You're both clearly recognize his excellence, and now you consider him to be a part of your team. And this isn't jargon that you're using; it's just from the heart, the way you feel.
Correct.
This is awesome. This is I got to tell you, I don't know what more I could ask of you two. You've already spent 45 minutes of your extremely valuable time with me here. I'm really overwhelmed at the value. Let me ask you. You know, you've obviously grown your business. What are some of the things, you know, over the last 6 months, you know, since you joined up with NHB and so forth, that you would want somebody else to know, you know, about how you've grown your business, some of the smart moves that you've made, some of the experience that you had, just anything that you'd want to know, because I can't possibly ask any more of you than just this one last question. You know, maybe if you're, you know, talking to yourself from 6 months ago and trying to prepare yourself for what was going to happen, you know, after you joined NHB, you know, what would you say?
Just what I would say, Michael, is don't stress. Follow Greg's system. You don't have to follow it to the letter. He keeps saying you can tweak things a little bit, but just follow his system. Follow his advice and do what Greg does. You can't go wrong. I must admit, we see a lot of stress heads on the OMG group from time to time. And I think they just need to relax a little bit and trust. And I think it's that, you know, trying to de-stress and trust that will actually do the job.
I love
What do you
that.
want to say about that, Danny?
I'd agree with that. And something else too is probably something about perfection. A wise person told me about 5 or 6 years ago that it doesn't have to be 100% right. Get it to 80%, get it out there, then work on the last 80% of the last 20%, and it will improve from there. And I think a lot of people get caught up in getting it right rather than getting it out there. And you can use the templating as an example. The first time I write up a template for somebody, it goes out and they use it, and it's only when they use it that I understand then what changes I need to make. And that's what being in business and being around the OMG and doing this sort of business is about. It's only when you get it out there and tweak it. Greg's tweaking things every day, and we do that as well. But I think, you know, I've said it already before, Greg's systems has given us all the confidence we need now just to go forward and be relaxed and, love it.
More
Love
advice. My major piece of advice to anybody new is just get started. Take the first step. And what else would I say to them? Take the first step. Oh, and get rid of that shiny object syndrome as quick as you can. I have unsubscribed from literally hundreds of IMers over the last 6 months. I don't look at Warrior Forum. What do you call them? WSOs anymore. They're time wasters. And honestly, Facebook is really twice a day for me. First thing in the morning and last thing at night. Get started, take action, don't stress. Just take the first step.
And what do you think the first step is?
Go through all. We're talking about new NHBers and OMGers. Just go through the whole series. Yeah. Then go back to the beginning and watch the first video again, and then start taking the action steps.
I like that.
Understand the whole thing first. So, when somebody first comes on, they get Module 1. So go through the whole Module 1, then go back to the first video and follow Greg and buy your first domain, do your research and just take the steps. And even if your first website takes you 4 months to build and to rank, who cares? I think and the other thing is stop tracking your rankings all the time. Just trust. Yeah. I'm giving advice to myself as well because I do check them a little bit too often.
Well, this is incredible. I want to highlight one last thing and pay a real compliment, a final compliment to something that each of you are saying. One, trust. I think that it really is important to understand that faith wins. Faith is really a powerful thing in this world, and feeling like that creativity doesn't matter. Well, it does. Have faith in your creativity. Have faith in your choice that you've made. And I'm substituting faith for trust, but I'm just giving a different angle here. And you see the results all around you. We try to make it easy with all the results. You're showing an incredible result right here with SEO Gold Coast. Our members show incredible results. Me and Greg show incredible results. But faith. And then something that Trish said that I think is critical. David Mills has said, one of the things that made him an effective student. And one of the things, like when we go to school, it really can dull our curiosity because we get put in this position where we feel like, we're being tested all the time and judged all the time, and it's scary. And so you get handed 10 math problems, and 9 of them are easy, and the 10th is just a pain in the butt. And what David would do is he would do the 9 easy ones and skip the 10th one. He would just skip it, and he'd take 90% and be happy with that. And of course, in school that may or may not work, but in life, what Trish is saying, that in life that really does work. If you do the 80%, get it done, and get it working, and get it in action, and then get feedback on that, and then work on the next 80% of what's left over, then that's brilliant planning. That's brilliant planning. Just get actions completed, not slop. We're not saying slop, but we're saying, do it well, get it out. Do it well, get it out. I did a video last night. I just noticed that Seattle real estate agents had an authority listing, and I knew I'd put some changes into it. I put a little silo in it. By the way, don't feel like a silo has to be like the biggest thing in the world. It's like it's a little mini silo. It was like two silo pages and then 3 articles off each silo. So like little teeny tiny silo. And boom, authority listing popped right up. I was happy about that, and I was happy with the look and feel of the website. I was on Thesis 2.0, and so I just fired up Camtasia, and I shot like an 11-minute video, and I got it up and out. And it's funny because right after that, something big and important came up, and weirdly, if I hadn't gotten it up and out in that 11 minutes, it still wouldn't have gotten done now. Maybe it'd be on my mind later, maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. You got to get these things up and out. So I just love that. Again, I would say that the big theme of this conversation and this incredibly invaluable NHB back and forth here is, faith and the upward spiral. Go for faith and go for the upward spiral. Understand that in templating and in double checking, if you start getting into email marketing, look, it took me a few more seconds before I had this conversation. I was just dying to meet with Andrew and Trish. But I double-checked every link before I sent it out, because guess what happens? When you don't double-check, you miss a link. It's not if, it is when and how bad is it going to be. faith and the upward spiral, double checking, and that kind of thing. Guys, thank you so much. Incredibly valuable. 50 minutes of pure gold from the Gold Coast. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I'm really grateful.
Thank you so much for allowing us the 50 minutes to speak to you and to the rest of the group.
And thank you for the honour.
It's been an absolute pleasure. I've got to say, we really admire what you're doing in OMG, David and Greg and yourself. So just kudos to you guys.
Yeah. Cheers to you both. My heart is swelling. Okay, thank you very much, and best of luck with your money getting today.
It's all happening here, Michael.
It is all happening. Okay, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks, Mike. Bye.
Bye. All right, hey, this is Mike. I'm doing what I love to do most. I'm meeting with, in this case, David Hood. David is an OMGer. David's an NHBer. Welcome, David. Can you hear me?
You broke out for a second.
Oh, okay. Now can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. All right, so to give the kind of backstory behind this, Greg sent me this email over the weekend on March 1st, 3 days ago here, and it was about Brian Halliday, who's having some great success doing some coaching. He's made about $5,000, and Greg meant to include me and David Mills, but instead he accidentally included you, David. You and I wound up talking on this thread, and actually showed me some really great results that you're having. Let me just take a look at this here, kind of as we're talking. You got a deal through a local marketing agency. You told me a little bit about that a second ago, where you made $2,500 up front, and then I think that's a plumber. Oh no, that's somebody different. And then you got another deal for $1,800 up front, and then you just have a bunch of deals that you have going on. And I wanted to find out kind of the inside baseball from you of what deals that you've made, and also people are really interested in how you make the deals. Obviously some are just people that you know, some are moves that you make. So I'm just kind of curious for the inside baseball to your growing success here.
So probably one of the best ones is actually the marketing agency. And what had happened was I had met her at some internet marketing thing 9 months ago or something, and I was actually doing other internet marketing, and I was using a reseller, which I think a lot of people are using a reseller. And when she heard that, she was like, I'm not really interested in that. But I filed that away, and as soon as I started doing well with Greg's, with the NHB, I gave her a call in January, and she was really interested almost immediately. What I did was I sent her a video, like a 20-minute video on the business that she was getting a deal with, that was very much like how Greg does it. I had my picture on the bottom, and I showed my screen, and I walked through the keyword research and the competition and showed her the opportunity, and it was, it looked like there was a pretty good opportunity. And I told her, I basically gave her a look into kind of my plan, and she was really impressed, and so she got a deal for me with that. And so that one, what I've been trying to do is structure a lot of the deals, and I think that it works. People like it, even though it's a little bit more upfront. But it's a lot like what you showed in one of your videos in NHB, with how to structure the deals, where it's kind of like an upfront sort of retainer, but then it's a performance after that. There's not really many people out there that are offering these kind of SEO deals, because these people are getting marketed to constantly, getting so many calls. Especially there's a lot of big companies that they just have giant teams of salespeople that are making 100 calls a day to small businesses trying to convert them. And so they're getting a ton of calls, but none of the deals look like this. They're all like $1,000 a month, $500 at the minimum, and more like $1,000 to $2,000 a month, just flat. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, tough. And so that's usually worked pretty well. So I've had that. That one was $2,500 up front, and then, like you said, the plumber was $1,850. And then I do have another guy who, right when I started NHB, I signed a deal with him. It was only $550, I think, actually, up front, and then from there he was going to pay me per lead. And then I already is nowhere, and he's number 4 right now after less than 3 months for his top keyword. And he's got a bunch of keywords on the first and second page, probably like 40 or 50.
Wow.
Maybe a little less than that, but a bunch of keywords. And so he sees that, and he's real happy. And so he was talking about he wanted to dominate the whole area that I live in, all the little cities. And I told him, okay, well, let me get back to you. And I actually asked for like $4,500 a month, but he's like, nah, I don't think so. And so I said, how about, he wanted to do more of the performance basis, so he's agreed to, although I haven't officially signed it, but he's agreed to $4,500 upfront, and then the same pay for performance before. But instead of just doing kind of a smaller area, I'm doing a much larger area.
That's
so
awesome.
those are the biggest deals, but I'm really looking forward to the marketing agency. She's just going to keep sending me business. So that's mine. Even though it's not the biggest deal, it's something that...
Yeah, I love that where you made a Camtasia video for her with a picture-in-picture video. And what are some of the metrics that you went through? Did you open up the Google Keyword tool? Did you kind of multiply out what the leads could be worth for her? How did you walk through things for her?
Yeah, so sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. It depends on what kind of data that I have. Sometimes it's harder to guess how much they're making per lead. At the very least, I'll use the cost per click data and say, I know that some people are paying for this, but, even if I got you, if I got you this amount of traffic, this is how much people are paying for it. I can get you this for much less than that. What I do is I take the Google Keyword tool and I export it to Excel, and I kind of toy with it, I highlight it, I highlight the different cities. This is multiple locations that this one through the marketing agency, different colors, make it look neat. I use a pivot table. I know a lot about Excel, and I actually also have a tool. I pulled in their rankings and put it next to what they're currently ranking, and so I made it very. So I didn't show them the keyword tool, but I took the data from it and I processed it, and then I showed them that, and then I showed the competitors on the top search phrases that they would probably be going after, and how weak they were, and how I'm just like, man, this is not going to be hard. There were exact match domains for some of their top search phrases, like the .com with no dashes, and so I was like very confident that that's something that could easily be got.
So that's really brilliant. So what you're doing is, first of all, you're not just taking what Google spits out. You're formatting it and working with it and tuning it, and then you're being like, well, listen, now, like, let me show you the great news. The great news is that your competitors are actually 50-pound weaklings, and I can just smash them like Godzilla for you, and that you can...
Yeah, and I can show that. I show them the tool that Greg uses to evaluate the competition. I don't have a problem showing them that. I don't have a problem giving them a peek into what I do, because it still kind of goes a little bit over their head, but they can see, I can break it down to the most basic number and just say, look, this is low. And I can look at it, I can tell if they're doing SEO. It's very easy to tell. And I can tell if they're not doing SEO. I can look at their links, and I can look on their page and see, wow, they don't even have the right thing in the right keywords in their title, so they're clearly, this would be really easy to beat. Or, and you have an old site with a bunch of natural links, and it shouldn't be a big deal. And then again, I think using exact match domains also as a competition metric, as well as a way to potentially to get them multiple results on the first page is
brilliant,
pretty powerful stuff. When I show them that, and I show that there's a couple of exact match domains that I've gotten that all I did was buy it and install like WordPress on it, and it ranks sometimes with just that. And so when I show them that, I just bought this like a week ago, and it's already on like the second page for the search phrase. They're like, wow, okay, so
yeah,
that works pretty well.
Well, okay, so you've got kind of like a small bag of tricks, but they're all pretty effective, and you're just like looking to see what sparks for them, and then you're kind of piling on there.
Yeah, I mean, I create the video and I just kind of just walk through my thought process as much as I can, and I think that when a video is about your business, they're impressed by it. I've actually taken these videos also and burned them to DVDs and sent them to people as sort of like a prospecting tool. That's worked a little bit. I haven't done a lot of that. It's a secret little trick. It's a lot of work, but it's very powerful, because these people are getting a lot of direct mail, but nobody's sending them DVDs.
Yeah, here's a DVD about your business.
Yeah, your online presence. Check it out. It's hard not to at least look at it. No pressure. I'm not cold calling or anything. So I've gotten several calls back that way. I'm trying to think of any of the deals that I've closed. I don't think any of the deals that I've closed now or any of the new ones have come that way, but I've gotten interest that way.
Well,
So-
and the thing is, you just try things, and as you get going, like, you learn what works. The point is, you're making decent money doing this at this point. I mean, you're really like starting to really get something kindled. You're starting to get referrals. You actually got one deal through a referral recently. Is that correct?
Yeah, and then the one that I'm going to go to, actually have to leave here in like less than 10 minutes, is from another referral. I've tried a lot of different things. I've been doing this for a little while. Before I joined NHB, it wasn't very successful. It's gotten a lot better since I joined NHB. I don't necessarily think you need a lot of the previous experience because of the level of service that Greg provides. I mean, I thought I was trying to come up with an analogy, but the best I could say was that when I bought the first product, your V-Books, I thought that was like a $2,000 product right there. And I think the same thing applies to the NHB program, the same ratio. I think it's like a $10,000 or $20,000 product. Basically.
Wow.
So, I mean, I'm the level of service that Greg provides, I don't know. Does that guy sleep? I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's a beast. I got to tell you, he's really the best business partner that me and David Mills have ever had. He's just incredible, and we've built millions of dollars worth of businesses, and we've worked with some very talented and creative people. But I've never worked with anybody like Greg Morrison. He just blows me away.
He really seems to, and it shows in a lot of the videos, he really seems to be looking out for what's best for us. Like, there's a lot of times where he puts in the extra work just to save us $50, when, who knows how much an hour, an extra 30 minutes or an hour of his time is worth. So he really takes it. So, but I mean, after seeing all the videos and watched through, I ate up everything that he put on there. I've watched all the videos, so, and taken detailed notes. That's part of what gives me a lot of confidence, and especially lately with the results that I've been able to provide. It's been good.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm really appreciative. I don't want you to have to rush out the door. I want you to land this deal. So thank you very much for your valuable time, David. I really, really appreciate it. We had to go back and forth, change formats a few different times, so I really appreciate. And I'm glad for the serendipity of this. And I will see you inside of NHB. I obviously up to some good stuff. So, Glenn, I've got the email you sent me on January 27th opened up. It says, "Riding the wave from video, my company, site, and results. My customers obtaining. I've been contacted by 4 companies in the last 10 business days. What a rush." What's cool from this, I liked getting this. I actually put it in one of my dispatches. But then it seemed like every other day I was getting an update from you, where you're just doing more and more. The most recent one was on the Facebook group where you closed the big deal, I think, with a lawyer. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So what's the so give me an idea. All right, so you're now, well, this month you made like 10 grand, and you said that you're on to recurring billing starting in March of $9,000.
Yeah, starting in March, I'll be up right about 9,200. Yeah, everything this month, this is my best month so far. I made right at 17. I put in the bank in January.
17,000 in January. That's incredible. I looked up. You joined us January 2nd. So it was kind of funny because I was kind of counting along just to see how far you get in your first month. So that was a little internal thing. I didn't tell anybody else about it, but I personally was curious because you kept going up and up in your numbers. So give me your background. Where you were before you joined us, because you've obviously been in the game for a while, and where were you at before, and then what's changed for you since you joined us, and I'm curious where you see yourself heading.
Well, I worked for Yellow Book for 10 years, so they started getting into a little bit of the SEM and SEO markets about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I did quite a bit of work for them and sold more SEM and SEO in the Midwest than I think the rest of the team combined.
What does SEM stand for?
Search engine marketing, pay-per-click.
Right.
And then as they tried to change the company over a little bit more to an internet marketing company versus a directory company,
Yeah.
the more I learned, the more I just kind of thought that my focus was probably in a different direction what theirs was.
Yeah.
A year ago, last summer, so the summer of 2012, I spent some time, went to Texas, met some people, went out to California, met some people in internet marketing, and that's when I decided I needed to start my own company. So I started that like a year and a half ago. just getting the basics done with all the incorporation stuff like that, and then started selling right at a year ago right now.
Okay, great. And so how did that go for you? What were the ups? What were the downs?
It was just kind of a little bit of a learning factor. I tried going out and selling SEO, and most of the clients I came in contact with at the beginning all needed websites.
Yeah.
And so I had to learn how to build websites because I couldn't get the SEO without the website portion of it.
Right.
So it was just kind of a trial by error and trying to learn a little bit more. And then finally in August last year, I had a pretty good month in July on my own, so I quit my day job and just started doing this full time in August.
Okay, great. Where were you at earnings-wise by then?
It was kind of, I wasn't really paying attention to it because I had a day job, but was still making pretty good money.
Yeah.
My wife came out to me actually 2 weeks ago on Sunday night and was kind of shocked because I was just kind of focusing on month by month, taking care of small things.
Yeah.
But we ended up billing out right about 98 our first year, so I didn't think that was too bad.
Yeah, fantastic. Congratulations. So now, what were the challenges that you're running into other than that you had to figure out web design so you could build people's sites to rank them?
I just need to know a little bit more, and then the reason I started watching your guys' videos and webinars and whatnot was for simple people, metal roofing, people selling equipment like baseball and soccer equipment, stuff like that. I could do most of that optimization just with site structure and maybe some directory listings. Mm-hmm. But as I got into more complicated and competitive headings, I just need to know a little bit more, and that's why I started watching the videos that you and Greg put out there and realized that to take my business to the next level, I need to do that. I still haven't gotten into the affiliate stuff yet. I've just kind of been buried with trying to watch all the videos and learn all the little nuances of just the day job film.
I got you. I think you're doing okay. Yeah. I think you're picking up a heck of a head of steam at this point. $17,000 is a lot of money to bank in 1 month. So what? I'm a little bit curious about your background and also where you're headed with things. So I definitely want to find out more about you from your Yellow Pages background, because I think that one of the things that's really been great with OMG has been really getting a mix of our customers are very grateful, but they're also extremely generous, and we gain insights from them. And I've always been curious. I knew one girl who did a lot of sales for Yellow Pages, and I had some insights into how she did that and so forth, although not exactly how OMGers would leverage it that much. I mean, I learned some stuff. So I'm curious to pick your mind for that a little bit. But what I wanted to find out first was where do you see things heading, and what hurdles do you want to kind of overcome as you're moving forward? For example, have you started your PBN? Have you started looking at GSA? Some of the things inside of the search engine stuff that we're teaching?
Yeah, I think I have 19 or 20 sites right now so far for my PBN.
Excellent.
And I've just kind of been a little bit buried the last couple of weeks. I was just going to buy GSA today. Right. I know I talked to someone else and found some VPS out of Germany that they recommend for doing it, so I'm trying to get that stuff set up.
But you watched the videos with me and Jimmy there?
I did once. I probably have to go through them again one more time and then try and focus on a little bit more. But I went through it the first time just to kind of get a brief overview. Yeah,
it's real powerful how Jimmy's doing that. I don't know if you've looked at the Nashville SEO ratings that we're using as a bit of a case study for that. But they're crazy because it's so competitive. I mean, Nashville SEO is just incredibly competitive. I think we're like number 3, number 8, and then we're like half of page 2, and then we got another couple properties coming up on page 4. And that's all just since we shot those videos, which is very recently. I think Jimmy was over at my place because he came through Nashville with his wife because he's moving here. I think it was less than a month ago when we shot those videos. So it's really those rankings are skyrocketing fast. So good that you're having a look at GSA. Good that you're getting started with the building your PBN. Are you attending the office hours with Greg and Fletch? How are those going for you?
They're going great. For some reason, just with prior commitments I've had, I think I've only attended 1.5 with Greg. Mm-hmm. It just the time just haven't jived. Yeah. But Fletch has worked a little bit better with my schedule, so yeah, I like Fletch. I love his approach to it and stuff like that, and they've done great so far. Yeah,
it seems like you and Fletch have a great vibe going on. I've seen a couple of the communications going back and forth. So let me ask you this: in order to look at where you're going, let me ask you a little bit about your background. Let me tell you what I know about Yellow Pages. So I knew a girl for a while. She was up in Michigan, and she was a Top Gun salesperson for Yellow Pages. where she was making most of her sales. This was, in the last year or so. So, first of all, they got hit hard with Penguin. Penguin and Panda really devastated the division or the groups, the Yellow Pages divisions that she was working for whatever that's worth. But this is pretty recent. This is like maybe 3 or 4 months ago. And so their search engine stuff was really, really tough. Where what she was doing that was actually making most of her money was going to people who had canceled with Yellow Pages. That was where she was making far and away her most money, by going to people that had quit on them before and then trying to get them back in somehow by doing some, various marketing packages that would be like, oh, we'll send you this many clicks, we'll try to rank you for this, and we'll do a paper campaign for you. It was like these kind of mashup campaigns that she would get together for people. I also think she was a little bit like could sell ice cream to Eskimos kind of girl. So what was what's your experience with what? Because now you're competing with Yellow Pages, and obviously you're doing very well. What did you learn from that? What are you doing in sales meetings that you think is helping you be successful?
Well, I think just some of the things that have come from the brief time I've been around you guys and why I decided to join was it's just doing so much of the stuff kind of in-house and providing the tools where you're doing it so you're not outsourcing something to the Philippines or India or something like that. I think that's the biggest difference is when you're outsourcing it, you lose a lot of control over those type of issues. And so when something gets affected by Panda Penguin and things like that, you have less ability to react and correct those things. And so I think just with that, and then with the confidence of going in and having some headings that I have multiple URLs ranking on the first page to be able to start talking to people about search engine domination. Because here in the Midwest, no one's talking that. They're trying to figure out a way just to do SEO.
Yeah, I really like that, and I appreciate that as a vote of confidence. But you already had a lot of success. Like when your wife came up to you and she's very proud of you, and that's a wonderful feeling. That you've already done over $90,000 in sales. What would you say accounted for that $90,000? What were some of the key points that somebody else could glean from that?
I think it was just getting out and talking to enough people and trying to find little niches that you can work in, and just learning the little nuances. I've come across and probably built a half a dozen websites for people because they were with Wix, they had Flash on their sites, so they weren't working with iPads and all your Apple products and things like that. It's just getting to know the product so you can help customers better. So
a lot of it was getting into like the fine-tuned details and saying, okay, your stuff is built with Flash, and so you're not going to display on an iPad. I can build you a WordPress site that's going to be responsive. It's going to work for you. That kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, just having them pick up a tablet and showing them that their website that they paid for is a gray box. You can't do anything with it. There was one of the other phone books here in town that actually was building some websites that somehow they had the navigation bar made out of Flash. So when you show the customer that you can't get past their home page on an iPad and how many people are buying these things now, they kind of open their eyes and they realize they need to do someone that's doing more custom work.
I love that. So let's talk about your most recent deal. It was a blockbuster. How did it start? This was with a lawyer.
Last Monday, I got a phone call from a lawyer's daughter who's working for him. She's like a year out of law school, and she wanted to get some pricing for me for an application.
Where did she find you?
That was the first question out of my mouth, and she said, I don't know, Dad laid a piece of paper on my desk that had another law firm's name on it and said, this guy's website.
I remember you saying this. You mentioned on the Facebook group to absolutely have your company information on the website as a kind of a viral calling card. So you're on your client sites.
Yeah, I always put in the footer, develop and host by the name of my company.
Okay, great. So he looked at one of his competitors and said, I want the advantage that these guys have.
Yeah, his competitor in his city is ranking number 2 for just general attorney, right behind FindLaw's number 1.
Yeah.
When you go to a lot of the subheadings, like your personal injury and work comp, we're still on the first page, down about 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So like 4th for DUI, 3rd for divorce. They're ranking quite a bit.
Nice. Great job at that. So what was that meeting like? So first you met with the daughter, and was that mostly to get to, ultimately she was like a filter to get to the decision maker, or was she the decision maker?
No, she wasn't the decision maker. We just visited a little bit over the phone, and so we set up a meet and greet for 2 days later. So I went on Wednesday, met with her father, who's a very aggressive, very successful personal injury attorney in the area where he's at, and we sat down and just talked for about an hour, hour and a half.
Can I find out more about that meeting to get to the father? Because so often that introduction, is a key part of the moves. Not just getting the meeting, but also have the framing for the meeting. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Having it be kind of on your side.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Well, I'm trying to figure out what happened in the meeting with the daughter, because whatever the daughter says to the father is going to influence, it's going to paint a frame around your meeting with him, right?
Yeah.
So what did you say to her?
She was just asking if I had pricing. And I basically said to her that, everything I do is custom. I'm not people to try and have a company where you have square pegs to try and make my customers fit, into round holes.
Okay, great.
So I needed to sit down and basically have an orientation meeting with them so that I could find out what they want to do and where their directions were going so that I could mold a product around that.
I love that. Great. So then, so they went for it. You sat down with the father. What was that mean? Like in that hour in between, what happened?
We just sat down and had a good conversation to kind of find out where his goals were, kind of what he was thinking. He's one of these attorneys that are numerous ones that are with a company called Fine Law right now that works with a lot of attorneys, and they've really kind of been real lax the last year and a half with SEO. Mm-hmm. And he kind of shared with me.
So Fine Law is like an aggregator, much like Zillow would be for real estate.
That's one function. They also build and develop and optimize sites for attorneys as well. Charge them a lot of money, and they're not getting very good results right now.
How much does Fine Law charge?
I think he was right now at $2,500 a month.
Okay, got it. And the point is, $2,500 a month is not a lot of money if you're getting results. If you're not getting results, it's $2,500 wasted down the drain.
Well, it's $2,500 a month in a 60,000 population city, so it's not like you really have to do that much work to achieve results in that smaller town.
Got it. So to you, you really felt like this is not a good deal for him. And did you tell him that?
Well, I just explained to him that I thought what they were charging him for, because not originally. We just basically went over kind of what he wanted to do.
Okay.
I shared with him the water damage St. George.
That thing is the bomb.
To see if he would like that type of service.
That's the gift that keeps giving.
Well, it is, and it works well with me. I sign non-disclosures with all my clients, so I don't share their information with anyone else. And so to be able to show something that's out there like that doesn't violate that goes a long ways, especially when you're working with someone that wants to have a non-disclosure himself. Yeah, that's great. So when you saw that, did you feel like he moved into the yes category, and it was more about like getting the fine-tuned details, or was there more kind of sales to be done? No, I mean, we could tell there. From that point, I already had one client in his area, the one he called me for. So we had to identify keywords. Those ones, I could only offer him optimization for his site. I couldn't do any domination. Yeah. But then it was just trying to find out the scenarios that would work and give him some different options to optimize his site as well as some domination.
I'm so curious how you price things out. Like moving things out of vagueness on pricing is very fascinating to me. So what was the final deal that you wound up with, about as close as possible as you can without giving up more details than you want to?
Well, we are going to redesign his website, so he needs a new website, and for as many different search terms as he wants to be found by in a couple of different cities, I'm probably going to have to build about a 60 or 70 page website.
Okay, great. And how much is that going to cost him?
$7,500.
Great. And you're taking care of the WordPress theme, all that kind of stuff is included?
Correct.
Okay, great. And are you going to design that yourself, or are you going to outsource that?
No, I'll take care of it myself.
Okay, great. Good for you. And then what are you going to design it in? Are you going to design it in Catalyst, in Thesis, something from scratch?
I don't know. I haven't got into Catalyst and Thesis, so I'm going to do that this week to try and learn a little bit more about it. I've heard great things about it. I just haven't played with it myself.
Okay, great. What have you been using up to this point?
I either use just the responsive theme because it's simple and doesn't have a lot of big database behind it, and customize it myself. Yeah. Or I use another CMS called Concrete 5 that I really like, and it works very well.
Yeah, I think you brought up Concrete 5 to me before. Is that right? I think you sent me an email about it.
Yeah, it's a great tool. It's a little bit more secure. Every theme, every add-on for it or plugin gets approved by the owner, so it's not like WordPress where anyone can just throw something up there and say this is great.
Yeah, it's a little tricky though if you want to use something like Russell and Sue's vSilo plugin, which is so powerful. Then do you have to get it approved with them?
Yeah, I would. So that's what, once I play a little bit around with the catalyst and the dynamic, then I may end up using that. I just haven't used it yet.
Well, yeah, and concrete may be great. I'm always, you can tell, I mean, I'm just curious about this stuff. Okay, so the redesign 7500, what does that buy him? 60-page website, that's the on-page optimization is there, and then does that come with a beginning ranking package, or is the ranking separate?
No, but the ranking starts in 30 days, and that's $3,500 a month.
Rock and roll. And what are you ranking it for?
He has 30 different search terms that we've gone through Google and just trying to find the best ones to rank for the larger city across the river for him.
Yep.
And then this city as well.
Yep.
And so we're going to rank for those, and then we start playing with building some sites that he's actually going to start buying leads from on a per call basis.
So you're going to help him with pay per call as well?
Well, I already set up to help him do like a Google pay per call.
Yeah.
He agreed where the areas where I could do domination.
Yeah.
He really, after only knowing me for 2 days, I gave him a $10,000 a month bid to do some search engine domination.
Yeah.
Or I gave him a bid where he would give me results-oriented commissions, basically based on where the positions were.
Yeah.
Or I gave him a third bid of $150 a phone call for any calls I generate for him, and he decided to take it per call basis.
Okay, great. And that $150, I like this hybrid model. Something that Scott Schaff is doing, where there's a bit of money guaranteed every month, but then there's also a pay per call element to it. So you have the kind of the fusion of the two.
Yeah.
I think that's a nice way to be able to expand with somebody. So it's, part of it's results based, but part of it is, they're both results based, of course, but it's a couple different ways of having results based moves that you're doing with people, where you're like, because obviously if you sat around doing nothing, it wouldn't go anywhere. Did you bring up that whole kind of one-man gang aspect to him? And I'm not trying to lead you. There's no right answer to this. I'm just curious. Where when he's saying, how are you different than the next guy? You're like, because I've got it all under one roof. I'm not outsourcing to Pakistan. I used to work for the Yellow Pages. That's what they would do. You wind up with kind of low quality stuff. And with me, I'm the one doing it. You're not talking to a salesperson. You're talking to the guy who's going to do the SEO. That keeps your costs down and your results up. Is that the sort of thing you're saying, or do you not bring that up?
With this one, I didn't even bring it up. I listened to a little bit more of what I think, like from your videos that you had there from the SEO Nashville.
Yeah.
A little bit of learning from Pledge and some of the trial and errors that he's gone through.
Yeah.
I didn't bring that up. He'd already seen the results of the services I've done. That's why he hired me.
Yeah.
I just
he didn't have that objection, so you're not going to bring it up.
No.
Great. When you were watching the My City SEO, when I was doing the sales calls for Nashville, did you pick up anything off of that besides maybe the using the Serve Pro or whatever?
Those were the main things. I like the idea of doing like the cost for the equipment and stuff like that. I just haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to incorporate that in right now.
I don't think you necessarily need to. It's not like it's really more for my lifestyle, because I'm not really willing to talk to somebody who hasn't paid me money. Like it's not exactly, that's not exactly true, but like it works. It really works pretty well for my lifestyle. But it's not that I feel like people absolutely should do that. I think that, like, for example, like what you did was fantastic. Now, how are you getting client meetings besides a little bit viral on your website and stuff like that? What are some other ways that you're getting clients?
Probably half of my business just came from referrals from other clients that I have.
Yeah.
They like the results they're getting, and they're sharing information off there quite a bit. I also am involved in a couple different chambers. I'm in some networking groups and things of that nature as well.
So did you generate the first half through the chambers and stuff like that?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Did you generate that first? So you got half that's coming to you kind of word of mouth. Then you got the core customers that are providing that word of mouth. How much of that did you get through chambers?
Chambers, I don't know, I probably did $10,000, $15,000 through chambers. I just joined the chambers in August of last year, so I've only been with them about 5 months.
Okay, great. And then what other ways? I mean, just meeting people on the street or people that you already knew? Like, where are some of the other places that you've been generating client leads?
Yeah, some were from people that I've known. You know, worked in smart advertising marketing here for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, I found a little widget that I could work with WordPress that translates everything from English to Spanish.
Yeah.
And so for a while, I hired a young lady that was bilingual who would work through the little neighborhood that's just primarily Spanish speaking, and sold them some websites.
Oh wow! How did that go for you?
It went great. I mean, even though I don't know that down the road it's that great a plug-in, because from the more you get to know people, I don't know that a lot of people that really speak Spanish here read Spanish that well, but it was a tool that they really enjoyed.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, but I like the idea of having just that extra edge, or just looking for something. You know, I talk a lot about stepping stones inside of OMG. I like these little stepping stone moves that you can make to kind of get yourself to the next level. What are some of the now? Do you have any questions for me? Like since you got me on the line, about like how to expand things, or any tough spots that you're having?
No, I guess the biggest thing I'm trying to do right now is just trying to manage my time. There's so many videos I need to watch. I still need to manage my day and take care of my clients. And
have you been through law of implication yet?
I went through 2 of them. I haven't got the first 2 is all I've seen with David.
Yeah, I would. It may sound weird, but I think, and this really got reinforced to me when I talked to Dave Keys a couple of days ago. I really like. It can always seem like it's that puts more stuff ahead of things, but I actually think that it's so much. I use this example again and again. It's so much like sharpening the saw before you cut down the tree. It always seems like it really seems like you should just be sawing down the tree with a dull saw. But you're just so much better off sharpening the saw. So what I would highly recommend that, for me to you, the number one takeaway would be to go through that law of implication training, at least, half an hour a day, take notes on it, because you're going to just have much more mental acuity. You're going to make better moves, and it's going to just leverage your time much better.
Okay, cool, thanks.
All right, great. Glenn, thanks so much for your valuable time. I really appreciate it. I'll shoot this recording over to you.
Okay.
All right, take care. God bless.
Thanks, bye.
Awesome. How's it going, Jay?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing terrific. Do you have a webcam, or are you just going to stick with the perfectly fine either way?
I've got a webcam.
All right, go ahead and fire it up. You already know what I look like. I usually find with these international style call, or even slightly international style calls, it's usually better for me to just keep my webcam off. But you already know what I look like, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, great. Well, I'm really stoked to be meeting up with you and conducting this little interview. I got a couple great messages from you. I've got one of them pulled up right now. I'll just start with what you say here. The best part about local IM, which is something that you're really specializing in. You've had some affiliate success as well, but you say the best part about local IM is the recurring income aspect to it. I have 10 local clients that are paying me $400 per month to keep up with their rankings. And you also put out the word that you're also friends with a couple of mutual friends of mine, Travis and Ryan. So take me inside of things. You're working the pedals on both affiliate and with local, which we like to call internet marketing 2.5. This idea of just not being in the old paradigm, not being kind of stuck in place, because there really are a number of ways to move forward, and I think that you really can bootstrap yourself forward, by being open-minded to both. Can you, first of all, take us inside your first local client, and I also have a follow-up email from you that really had some great stuff in terms of how it is that you're attracting clients, some neat things that you're doing, some innovative stuff. So I think that this is really cool to sit down with you, man.
Well, one of the first local clients I got was actually as a result of a networking meeting, and it was actually quite interesting. It was a meetup, very similar to what Joe was doing.
Yeah.
In terms of the BNIs and whatnot.
You're talking about from Joe from Commission Conspiracy.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it was a networking meeting, and it was just kind of hanging out, and someone approached me, and they were a carpet cleaner, and we were just kind of going back and forth, just chit-chatting, and I let him know that I do marketing online, and he says, "Oh, geez, I totally need that." When Google had switched over or started to switch over from Google Places, their old method of using the maps,
Yeah.
to the new method,
The local listings.
yeah. So with the Google Plus, and as a result of that, he actually lost his listing.
Oh. Yeah.
So his hair was on fire. As
Yeah.
would say,
Yeah. Sure.
He was in dire needs of some help, and there was really no one out there that knew how to resolve this. And I happened to picked up the information on how to resolve this.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, okay, well, let's set up a time and we'll meet. And so we met at a coffee shop, and I kind of walked them through. And what I really like to do with clients is essentially give them as much free information as possible. And what that does is that it essentially builds your own reputation. The saying, like, the guy thinks, wow, this is absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
He's giving me all this free information, and what ends up happening is they realize the work that's involved to actually
Right.
do any form of local marketing, whether it be recapture a Google local listing, set it up from scratch, maintaining it, building the website, associating the website to, all of that stuff. So, and I find a lot of small businesses, they want to try it themselves at first. They go,
Sure.
oh, okay, it's great. But then what happens is they realize how difficult it is.
Yeah,
and-
they hit any sort of a bottleneck, and it's just like, boom, they're stopped, and they've got all the other things going on in their lives. Now, do you ever show off your, as part of your portfolio, do you ever mention your affiliate sites and just kind of show off part of your portfolio?
On the rare occasion, I primarily like to show off more of the other local clients, but yeah, I do show some of the affiliate-based stuff to show you how you can rank without actually having a physical location.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's also a lot of home-based business that don't want to reveal their physical address.
Nice, that's a good point.
Yeah, which is a requirement for Google Places to get that verification listing and to have your listing within the top 7, the map there. Google will send you a postcard or send your client business a postcard to verify that they actually physically have that business there. And so there's a lot of photographers, for example, a lot of wedding photographers that don't want to, they just work out of their home and they don't want to reveal that information. So showing affiliate sites is a perfect example to say, okay, well here, we can actually rank you locally without requiring a physical address.
Right.
Oh, that's fantastic. And it's all about another thing I like to do is tell them, like, what is your intention? What do you want to do? Whenever I give them the sticker price, typically when I build a website, if they don't have a website, I'll build them a website which ranges anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500.
Right, and so that's before your $400 a month recurring starts.
Correct. Exactly.
Okay.
And
so you're doing a pretty lucrative business at this point. I mean, is that correct? Like since you've gotten started, and I'm honored because I know that you ultimately got started, in a lot of ways with me and my systems, and so for me it's really heartening. But also the cool thing for me is I'm constantly learning. As you can see from Commission Conspiracy, I mean, it is a conspiracy. Like I'm constantly gaining insight and details. I mean, I was doing SEO. I was sitting in a cafe, like actually working on the mysterymethod.net, adding a keyword to it, and just doing that, all that kind of stuff. Because one of our other OMGers brought something up about another product that's out there, and he's like, "Well, why aren't you ranking for this?" And I was like, "Well, why am I not ranking for this?" So it's really kind of a conspiracy. But I'm interested in this. I think that one of the things that just jumped to mind when I've read a couple of your emails now. And I admire how systematic you are, and I think that that's a real strength of yours. I think that it's something that anybody getting the opportunity to take chance in this can benefit from. So walk us through, out of your 10 current clients, how many of them did you have to build a website from scratch for?
All 10.
All 10.
Yeah.
So every last one of those 10 not only represents $400 a month, but somewhere between, like a ballpark, $2,000.
Correct.
So you're talking about $20,000 up front, $400 a month.
That's
Congratulations,
right.
dude.
Thank you.
Dude, that's a huge success. Like, just to take you back 2 years ago, would you have thought that was possible 2-3 years ago, like when you were just getting started?
Not at all. No, not at all. At the time I started out in this life teaching gymnastics. So I guess you can call it a true rags to riches story.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a passion. I mean, I was a gymnast myself, and so I never would have thought building websites, and ranking them online, dominating them online.
Yeah, that's so cool. Wow, that's really really cool. The funny paths that we walk. So. Well, but it's funny. I hear where you're coming though. I remember when I first, I was in college and I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. I had a history degree. I was wrestling. I was a good wrestler. But then, one day I had the horror of beating somebody really good, like an All-American. And I was like, well, now what? Am I going to be a wrestling coach? Is that what I'm going to do with my life? Is that really what I'm passionate about? Am I going to go to the Olympics? I mean, what am I going to do? Like, where's it going to go? And it just...
I had that same kind of crossroads where my body was starting to tell me I needed to stop coaching because it's very hard on the body lifting athletes, all day long.
Yeah. And
I was at a crossroads where, I didn't want to do this anymore, and I was always fascinated by computers and the internet and whatnot. So there happened to be a graphic design school that was kind of around the corner. So I took a couple courses here and there, and we didn't really do much in terms of marketing and business. But and so then I went off and I did some stunt work for a little while in the movies. And I said no, I couldn't do that anymore. But end of the day, I made I was living off credit cards. I was paying one credit card from another, like using one credit card to pay off another credit card. And it was just building and building and building. And, it was those networking meetings that actually made a real difference. And so, anyone who wants to get involved in local marketing and want to get rolling with that, go to one of those meetups or a BNI meeting or something. There are a plethora of people out there that are looking for people who want to provide a service to help them get ranked online, because nobody uses the yellow pages or the phone books anymore, other than, propping up kids to eat at the dinner table and pulling doors open, And each year you can see the yellow pages or the super pages and whatnot are slowly getting thinner and thinner and thinner. So there's tons of people out there. I was actually really blown away how many people were really in need of this stuff and really in need of education on how important it is to be online, locally speaking, and people were just kind of blown away. It's like, wow, if you can convince them that they have an ROI, if they can get the return on their initial investment, the sale is closed. Even if they have a website, say, listen, all right, so it's $2,000. Let's rebuild your site the way that I think is going to rank really well. And they go, oh, that's a little expensive. And I say, okay, well, how many new clients or customers do you need to make that money back? And they think in their head, and they'll say, they'll give me an answer, 5. So, and then I'll show them, okay, well, let's look at how many people are searching for your business, trying to conduct business for you. So, I'll show them the approximate amount of searches people are using to try to find a wedding photographer, plumber, carpet cleaner, whatever. And they'll look and they say, okay, well, now let's calculate maybe 10% of that number says that you'll actually get that business. So we get 1,000 searches a month. Let's say only 10% of those actually end up being clients. So you're going to make your money back within the first month.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, wow. Oh, okay. And it's a no-brainer for them.
Yeah, that's a real...
Convincing them that ROI is really important.
That's really powerful. There's two things that you're saying that I think I want to highlight, because I think that they're very smart. And I also want to get back to talking about how systematic you are in the deals that you're offering people. So there's really 3 buckets I want to get to here. One of the things I want to do is go back to what you're saying about BNI and business meetups, because we've seen this. Joe talked about it. A number of people inside of Commission Conspiracy talked about it. Very important. I liken this to actually just kind of flipping the script a little bit. In the relationship advice world, I think that the biggest overlooked opportunity is online dating. It just shocks me. It just shocks me how much blood, sweat, and tears a guy or a gal will put into kind of cold approach pickup, what really amounts to just, the opposite of shooting fish in the barrel, just totally taking complete, Hail Marys right and left, going to bars to try to meet somebody, hoping to meet somebody at the grocery store, women getting dressed up really, really hard to try to go to the grocery store and hopefully meet their dream man. And I know that sounds good. It sounds romantic. It sounds nice. Just like it sounds romantic and nice to land a business client under those same kind of circumstances, just walking around and meeting them and this and that. But the thing about online dating is that the people who are there are expressly there and paying attention for the purposes of starting and sparking a relationship. And what you have there is that kind of, like you said, hair on fire, shooting fish in a barrel kind of effect. It's very, very different. Same thing with a BNI meeting. And it's also a matter of timing. You can have literally the same person who's going to go home and be online on Match.com, who's at a bar right now just saying hey to a friend, but she's going to go home or he's going to go home. And once they're home, they crack open their computer and boom, they're in the mode of meeting somebody online. That's what they're thinking about. In the same way, you can meet that lawyer, that dentist, that carpet cleaner. You can meet him at the grocery store, at the bookstore or whatever, and he's in a different mode. He's with his family, his wife's calling him, he's, things are going on. Or he's at his office conducting his business, and he gets a cold call from you. And again, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, but the thing is, once you're at one of these business meetups or BNIs, it's like, again, the same metaphor as the online dating, like they're already looking to meet somebody. They're looking to engage in business. And, the context then shifts to your side because here's the other thing is with online marketing, especially with this kind of OMG approach where we can absolutely stone cold rank a site. You just know it. You can get them traffic. And you put some extra elbow grease into it and some extra focus into it, add some things that you do, which you've done very, very smart. You add to your repertoire, and next thing you know, you have just an unfair advantage. I mean, you really are their dream, like what they're looking for. And then that's all really big. So that's one bucket aside. Why the the BNIs and the Chamber of Commerce's and these business meetups, referrals, all these things are really terrific. So that's one bucket. Another thing I want to look at is the way that you're approaching clients. I think, and these both kind of fall under the idea. And, and as I'm listening to you, I have a good ear for this. The things that you're doing that are helping you be successful, that are sparking things for you. You're taking this systematic approach. You have a lot of swagger. I think it's great. It really matters. I want people to be able to absorb that from you. I certainly have it myself. Is this idea of this systematic approach, both the client getting and then presenting them with a deal. And I want to talk about those two buckets because I think that both of them are very important. What's the deal you're presenting and how are you convincing people? And I want to start a little bit, a cart, not cart before the wheel, but, whatever it is, horse before the cart before the horse. Let's talk about the deals that you're getting into, and then I want to talk about client getting. Because one of the things I noticed right away, if you say, well, I've got 10 local clients, the fact that you're able to funnel these people into very similar deals, makes things systematic for you. Now, we also have other people that are having a lot of success, really working with very, very different kinds of businesses where, they're working with some big fish, and that can be great. But I'll tell you what, having a baseline of a systematic deal where you're not reinventing the wheel every time, that really decreases the amount of hemming and hawing and wishing and washing. It makes things more systematic. So this deal that you're presenting, ultimately, like let's say I'm a business owner. Let's just do a little bit of role playing here for a second, if you don't mind. So, okay, so I'm a lawyer, and maybe you wouldn't offer this for a lawyer, so if you would calibrate, let me know. But let's say I'm a personal injury attorney, and we've met at a Chamber of Commerce, something like that, or a BNI, and we've gone back and forth. I understand you're an online marketing expert, and ultimately I say, listen, Jay, I'm just going to be straight up with you. I've been burned before. I have a back cover of the Yellow Pages here. They're giving me fire sale prices. I don't know how that's going for me. I hired a firm that's right in the business, right in the city next over. 1 hour away or whatever. They found me through the Yellow Pages. They said that they were going to give me the sun, the moon, the stars. It's $2,000 a month. I'm locked into a 6-month contract. what makes you different? Like, and really, the problem is I'm not seeing results. Like, I'm not in the listings. That's not what's going on. What deal are you offering?
Well, there's a couple of things that you mentioned there that I want to point out that make a huge difference, or which I'm very different. One thing you said is you're dealing with a firm. So that would mean you have either a corporation or you have several people working for you. Thus, your cost is going to be higher. I'm a one-man gang, so that means your cost, and I have very low overhead because I work from home. So my overhead is far less than someone having a firm where they have to rent an office and pay staff. So my initial costs are a lot less. The other thing you mentioned was a contract. I don't have contracts because I personally don't believe that you don't need to have a contract to stay with the client, okay? Because I personally work on performance-based results. So what that initially means is we'll redo your site to the way, or I'll redo your site to the way that I feel would work best to get ranked in the search engines. Not just Google, but Bing as well, because Bing is very important right now. If you think, just as a side segue, if you think about all the new computers that are coming out, they're being shipped with this new Windows version, and by default, the search engine on that fancy pants new desktop is Bing. So you never underestimate that Bing search engine. But yeah, I don't do contracts. So I'll build the website, and we'll get you ranked on the first page for your targeted keyword. Just one keyword, not a whole bunch of them. We focus on one keyword, and that is probably the most profitable keyword. We will go through and discover that.
So what if it was like personal injury attorney Knoxville? I mean, Can you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the initial cost would be around $2,000 to $2,500, and what you get with that is we'll build you a new site, and it'll be optimized for that particular keyword. Okay, and we'll do everything that we normally do to get you ranked for that keyword. Once you're on that first page, at which point then the next 30 days, the next month, we would then kick in a recurring consulting fee. And what that's initially for is to make sure that because when you're on the top of the mountain, the lions going up to the top of the mountain are always hungrier. So that means your competitors are going to start to do things to try to outrank you. And what I like to do is I like to push those people down to make sure that you're not going to lose your rankings, okay? The other thing, too, is that once you're on the first page, maybe you might be position 5, position 6, but when we start doing our recurring, that's the meat of it, where we start to push you up onto the first, onto that top spot, so number 1 or number 2, okay? So performance-based results, it means, maybe it takes 2 months or 3 months. It won't, but maybe it takes 2 months to get you on top or get you on that first page. But you're not going to be paying anything monthly until you're actually on the first page, right? You go out and find someone else that will do that for you. Probably not. Okay, so that's what really sets us, or sets my company apart versus pretty much everyone else, Wow. And I actually take a lot of passion in helping my local community versus just, you're not just another paycheck to me. I actually have a great passion. You help people, and I help people as well. So we are essentially in the same business.
Let me break out of the role playing. I think that was really terrific, by the way. I think that was really strong. Let me ask you this: do you bring up, when and how do you bring up other clients that you have? Do you show your other clients to that person?
Yes, if my other clients allow.
Okay. Hey, Adam, it's Mike. How you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, it does.
All right, great. That's I love Osaka myself. I'm a big fan. Let me pull up the email I had. It was pretty cool. From Greg that kind of prompted me. Now, I always loved your story going all the way back, because you had that really cool story that all started with you you having made your first, like, what was it that you made, like, your first $1,000 with
Just on your iPhone. On your iPhone, which is crazy.
Yeah, on my iPhone. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was cool. I remember getting a picture from you. I love these kind of progressional. You know, when we see your progress, when we see you, you know, like tracking people along, because that's how it started with Greg. You know, the first thing I heard from Greg, you know, he had bought one of my introductory SEO products, and I got a message from him that he had made. I think it was his first $16,000 at the time. It was pretty dramatic. And I really got to follow along with him. I wound up on the phone with him, much like you and I are today. And then, you know, he just progressed and progressed. So with you, the first time I heard, and, you know, Greg's real proud of your progress. We actually, I think, even mentioned your first $1,000 in one of our dispatches because it was so dramatic from your iPhone. And then here you are today. Now you've made, is it correct, like over $20,000?
Yeah, that's correct.
That's awesome. Well, can you tell us, like, first of all, how did you make $1,000 from your just from your iPhone? I've always been curious about that. And then how have you progressed?
Oh, well, let's see. Well, I didn't actually have a physical internet connection, and if I got on the computer, it was always too slow.
Yeah.
So what I'd done was I actually conjugated with one of my friends who was starting her business.
Yeah.
And I said, I'll build your website for you, and yeah, it sort of just went from there.
Oh, that's great. And so what kind of a business was he starting?
Pressure cleaning business.
What cleaning business?
Pressure, like pressure washing.
Oh, a pressure washing business. That's great.
Yes.
And so you put together a website from him?
Yeah,
was he happy with the website?
Yeah, he was quite wrapped with the website.
Oh, that's
He
great.
was even more wrapped when I told him I'd done it off my phone.
That's really awesome. So you actually just got WordPress and installed it on your phone and just built it that way?
Yes, and then for my link building and all that, I actually got myself a VPS, and then I got myself RDP software on my phone so I could actually do remote desktop off my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it was fun.
That really is fun. Okay, so how did you expand things?
I outsourced most of my work as well, only because it's kind of hard to type off the phone and.
Yeah, no, I imagine.
Yeah.
Well, now at this point but at this point you do have an internet connection. Is that correct?
But yeah, got his site. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Maybe we should try again. I'll call you right back.
Hello.
Hey there. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. So then how did it expand to now you've made $20,000, and this is also kind of exciting because you just have a newborn child, so this must be great for your family to be making some money.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. I mean, I was always on a decent paying job anyway, so
yeah.
So money was never really a problem.
That's great. So how did you ramp things up to this $20,000 level? What's that been like? What have you done?
Well, I started a SEO business, and my friend whose website I got ranked off my phone, he actually went out and started making sales for me through word of mouth.
Yeah.
And they just came in, and I've got about 15 clients at the moment.
Holy cow!
And
that's awesome.
Yeah,
dude.
it's not bad. So.
And you made $20,150. That's what it said here. That's awesome, dude. I think that's so cool. And so a lot of it has been through word of mouth, then.
Yes, a lot of it's been through word of mouth.
Have you been able to rank your friend's website yet, or is it still just coming up in the rankings?
If you should be able to search pressure cleaning Gold Coast, and you should be number one.
Oh wow, that's awesome! I'm going to Google right now. So I'll type in pressure cleaning Gold Coast.
Yeah, and you should be number one.
Okay, is this what's the name of the site?
Underpressuretc.com.au.
Under pressure. Let's see. I wonder if I have to go to the Australian.
Yeah, you might have to.
So if I go to google.com, let's see, google.com/.au. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, I might be able to just copy and paste this for you.
Oh, okay, great. All right, let's see that.
But if you browse anything like mine, it sort of just redirects you straight back to origin.
Okay, great. So let me grab the listing that you just sent me. Let's see. All right, so I'll pull that up, and then what's the name of the site?
Underpressurekc.com.au.
Yeah,
So
I've got you here.
Match, so.
Yeah, for me it's saying number 3, but that's still terrific. Obviously, it's number 3, and it's above the local listings. And then for you, it's showing number 1.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So and then obviously that's been something that's been able to helped him get traffic and visitors to his website.
He got about $15,000 worth of sales this week.
Oh,
so
this week?
All right.
Oh my goodness! From the site?
Yes, from this site.
That's amazing. So call Andy, free quotes, and you've got his phone number here, and this site is just flat out working.
Yeah. I'm still like optimizing it for him and everything, but it's working at the moment, and he's happy and I'm happy. So.
Oh yeah! Holy cow! I mean that's amazing. I mean that's just an awesome result. Wow.
Yeah, that site was how it is now. It was done off a phone, so.
That's amazing. That's just so cool. I love it. What template did you use?
I actually have an account with Elegant Themes. It's the Nimble template.
The Nimble template. That's so funny. That's great. You just did it, boom, boom, off your phone, and then here it is, and it's working for him. It's clean, it's clear, and there you go. Well, this is really cool, and you're just wrapping things up from here. Now, in terms of acquiring clients. Like, did you get all 15 of your clients through referrals, or have you gotten them through a number of different ways?
I've actually gone cold calling as well. So I just...
How has that gone? Can you tell me about one of your successful cold call situations?
I walked into a mirror shop, and he was actually looking up at the time SEO people to build a website for him.
Yeah.
And... yeah, I got him then and there. So
that's awesome. That's just awesome.
So what I do for him is I give him a free briefing. I've actually got a list of questions I ask them.
What are some of the questions that you ask?
Hold on, I'll open it for you. There you go. I just ask things like if he's got an established website, I ask what your website URL is, how old your website is, do they have any other URLs? Then I ask, the nature of your business, your main products and or services. Actually, I'll send this file to you.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you.
And then I'll send you a copy of the brief. I send them once I get my answer list back as well.
That's killer. That's really killer. I really appreciate that. And what are some of the objections and the questions that they wind up asking you?
First things I always ask, what's the cost?
Yeah. And what do you say?
Yeah. I said it depends on what your keywords what I'm doing for you, your competition. But yeah, I said I'll work off their budget rather than advisor budget.
Right. So you more try to figure out like what they can afford, and then that's pretty much what you charge them.
Yeah.
So what are some of the ranges that you're charging?
I've got a minimum price that I like to just sit at $350 a month, but I go up to $1,400.
Oh,
so.
You have one that's $1,400 a month?
Yes, but he's sitting on the fence with it at the moment, but we'll see what happens.
Sure. You going for the gold. That's great. That's great.
He actually runs a gold business. So.
Oh, that's funny. Now you're inside of NHB at this point, and what's that been like for you? Have you enjoyed that pretty well? What would you say to somebody who's thinking about joining NHB?
I'd say join it. It's taught me a lot. I mean, I knew how to build websites and sort of knew a bit about link building, but no, it's expanded me beyond my horizons and it shot me in the right direction.
That's awesome. And Greg, I was watching some of our NHB videos last night with Greg on Magic Submission, and it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. I just think that he's such a great teacher. Yeah,
no, I'm glad he got those videos up for Magic Submitter.
Those were great, right?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's great.
It's a bit of a pain if you don't know what you're doing on it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm actually about to sit down with James and get a little bit more training from him that I'll be able to put into OMG. So that'll be really cool. And we got another file coming in from you, which is excellent, and I appreciate that. I really like one of the things that I really enjoy about OMG in general, and specifically about NHB, is the people helping people aspect of it. Obviously, you're giving some terrific information and advice to me right here, that I can just pull up and take a look at, and then other people get to benefit from that, and it's all just really, really cool. So I'm opening this up right now, SEObrief.doc, and hopefully that'll come.
They're the questions asked, or get them to answer.
Yeah, that's great. Yep, and I'm opening the other one as well. So just take a second for that to pull up. So SEO Brief, what's your website URL? How old is your website? Do you have other URLs? What's the nature of your business, your main products and service, your percentage split of your core product areas? I like that. So you kind of lets you know more about their business and what's working for them, geographic stuff. So like what might I target for you, like that kind of thing. Yeah. So it's really great. So SEO Brief, what geographic regions? What are your main goals for SEO? What do you have? Do you have a budget in mind for online marketing? Do people answer that one pretty well? What do they usually put?
A lot of them don't answer it pretty well. If they've got an established website, they generally answer what they spend in AdWords.
Yeah.
If they do have an AdWords account.
Yep.
But a lot of them are only looking for about $500 a month.
Yeah.
So.
And how would you say you nudge them over to making that $400 a month commitment that you're getting from them right now, $350, $400?
If you read about Mira's digital strategy, you probably see it, how it's done.
Yeah. This is great.
I actually, because what I do is I'll list to their budget and then I'll put my recommended budget in.
Yeah.
And I'll add to that and say, this is what you're going to get out of my recommended budget and this is what I'm going to give you out of your budget.
This is killer. This looks great, Adam. This looks great. This is really sharp.
And that's the same. Look professional.
Yeah. But budget package $700 cross out $350 plus GST per month. What's GST?
It's the Australian tax. We get 10% tax and everything.
Oh, okay.
Services.
Got it. Got it. Okay, and then option 2 recommended standard package 650. Do you get any people taking the standard package?
Yes, I do. I've got one person on the standard package.
Yeah.
But his standard package, he's only $575. But
Man, this is killer. Adam, this is so frickin' valuable. Pardon my French, but this is incredibly valuable stuff.
You're talking to an Australian, that's not French.
Yeah. I'm with you. Man, this is killer. This is just killer. I'm looking at it. How did you create these root domain metrics?
OpenSite Explorer.
Oh, of course they are. Sorry, I couldn't see it that well on my screen. Let me make it bigger so I can just see it kind of better. Oh yeah, it is. Oh, that's killer, man. I love this. I'm so proud of you, man. This is really just tremendous stuff. And now, I mean, at this point, with as much money as you made, I mean, at some point you might even be able to quit your day job if you keep ramping this up.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Well, so where do you see your business going at this point? Like what do you see your? I mean, do you have a goal to quit your day job, or do you just like supplementing your income and then that's great?
Oh no, my goal is to quit. I don't want to be making money for someone else.
Right. Okay. So this is really like how are you feeling about things right now? I mean,
I'm feeling really good. I had my doubts when I started, but it's just getting better.
Yeah.
Everything's getting better.
Oh, I love that, man. This is exciting. So this is it. I mean, so like OMG and NHB really has like changed things for you. Is that correct?
It has, yes.
That's awesome. So if someone's thinking about getting involved, with OMG, with NHB, then you'd give it your thumbs up.
Yes, I would.
Oh man,
I wouldn't tell them any other way.
Oh, I really appreciate you saying that. Well, Adam, this has just been incredibly beneficial, especially with the documents that you've handed over to me. Really helps. Do you have any parting words for anybody who's happens to have the opportunity to listen to this?
Just stick with your guns and just don't give up on it. It's just a matter of keep forcing yourself to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you definitely did that. Like even when you just.
I mean, I'm not off an iPhone, so anyone with a computer can do it.
That's awesome. That's just awesome.
That's all I can say.
Yeah,
you can do it off the phone. You can do it off the computer.
That's great, Adam. Well, I really appreciate your valuable time, and thank you so much. This has just been incredibly valuable to me, and I'm just very grateful for you doing this. I say it all the time. OMG is a city on a hill. It's people helping people. It's Providence.
Yeah.
And I really feel you're just so strong. I pray for OMGers and NHBers every single day to have Providence and success. And I really feel like I feel so richly rewarded every time I get a new email in from Greg, or he tells me he gets so excited, and me and David get so excited. And so thank you just so much. I'm just so grateful for this time that you spent with me, Adam.
It's all good.
All right,
anytime.
All right, let me just make sure that this. All right, hey, this is Mike Long, and I'm here with Brian. Is it Brian Halliday?
That's right. Yes, that's my name.
That's great.
Brian Halliday.
It's this is a really special one for OMGers because you're actually one of the people really to thank for these co-conspirator field trainings and field reports that we've had. And the reason why is that Greg sent me a very nice email from you when you had just landed a client for a good amount of money. And he sent it to me, and he meant to send it to David Mills, but he accidentally sent it to a fellow NHBer, to David Hood. And David saw your testimonial, and he said, well, I got one too. and he asked if I would like to interview him. And I said, well, sure. I would love to do that. And it was funny because I was thinking at the time, well, I also want to interview Brian. So I'm just now getting to interview you, and this is really cool. Brian, I also want to begin with a compliment to you because you're really one of the people who I think really helps drive the NHB Facebook group, with your questions, with your updates, and so I want to thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, the Facebook's great. The Facebook group has been really helpful for me as well. Just in terms of mindset and motivation, it's been a good add-on, I think. Got a lot of value from it.
That's great. I'm so glad to hear that. So now in that email, I tried to find it really quickly before we began, but I couldn't. It didn't come right up. So I'll just tell you what I remember from it. I believe that you got an SEO coaching client, and it was for a good amount of money. I want to say it was for for thousands of dollars, US. I guess that what's your currency? Is it pounds? Pound sterling.
Sterling, yes. Well, the strange thing, it wasn't even an SEO client. It was a business coaching client, and the way I actually got the client was because I SEO'd my own website.
That's awesome. What did you SEO your website for?
Well, this is a real strange thing. I did a practice website. I'm also a hypnotist and a hypnotherapist.
Uh-huh.
And although I don't really want to do the hypnotherapy, I thought I would practice with a hypnotherapy site. So I ranked my site, which then became #1 for about 10 or 12 different terms.
That's great.
But the real strange thing was the client that I picked up had nothing to do with hypnotherapy. In fact, he was almost not going to phone me because of the emphasis on the hypnotherapy. He was looking for sales coaching and persuasion coaching, and I had 2 lines in my whole website that mentioned that I had a track record doing this, and it was purely based upon that he picked up the phone and called me.
That's amazing. Can you tell me what? Would it be okay with you? Can I search up your site in Google?
Yes, it's hypnotherapy in Edinburgh.co.uk, but there's a hyphen in between each word. So it's hypnotherapy Edinburgh.co.uk.
So if I search for hypnotherapy in Edinburgh, will it show up?
Edinburgh hypnotherapist, hypnotherapy in Edinburgh, hypnotherapy Edinburgh.
I see you're right here. You're #2 when I search for hypnotherapy, and you're smart because you've got the authority listing too. So your picture shows up there really nicely. That's so amazing. So he found this site, and you used Greg's keyword tricks to rank for a number of terms, because you're saying you rank for all kinds of stuff. What else do you rank for? Hypnotherapy in Edinburgh. What else?
Hypnosis in Edinburgh, best hypnotist in Edinburgh, stop smoking hypnotherapy in Edinburgh, hypnotherapy for weight loss in Edinburgh. Really, the list goes on. If you play around it, I come up for a whole...
Yeah, I see here again.
Thing.
Yeah.
And the actual term that got me the client was something that I would never have thought of. It was, I think it was something like Sales Therapy Performance Edinburgh, and I came #1 for that.
That's
and
cool.
Like I said, my site isn't really oriented towards that, but this is the really strange thing. This is the kind of work I love doing, and this is the sort of work that I used to do a lot of before the recession, and I absolutely hate doing hypnotherapy, but somehow, the real strange thing is, I've had practically no phone calls for hypnotherapy, and only a couple of clients have phoned me up through that website, but it's been the types of jobs I love doing, and they've been high-value jobs, so it's quite strange.
That is strange, but it also goes to show that, well, first of all, I want to compliment you because you made quite a smart move by just getting started, right? I mean, that's really the big lesson here is that instead of just sitting there saying, well, I don't know what to do, I don't know what market to be in, which I'm not mocking that. It's a very understandable feeling. Instead you just did what you could do.
Exactly. And I didn't have much resources, but that client has given me now £6,000 so far.
£6,000?
So it's about $8,000.
About $8,000. And how long is that? Is that spread out over the last 6 months?
I've got a 6-month contract with them, but I do some telephone coaching every Friday afternoon, and I'll meet up with them occasionally as well. But I mean, it's not taking a lot of my time up. But he also wants to pay me. The real strange thing that I noticed when I started doing the OMG, it was a complete shift in mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Where last year I was out trying to work with professional golfers, and I put a lot of time into marketing, a lot of time into doing talks, and I was chasing clients. And then towards the end of the year, I got so fed up with it. I woke up one morning and I said to myself, I don't want another client.
Yeah.
And the minute I made this sort of shift, I don't know if it's a different kind of energy that I'm giving out, but I didn't even want to meet with this client. He begged me on the phone to meet him. And when I actually met up with him, I tried to put him off, and he was literally stuffing money in my pocket before I could meet him.
And over what course of time did you collect this £6,000 sterling?
It was about 3 weeks after I started to rank.
Oh wow!
Which would be about January, February. I set myself this is really quite strange. I set myself a goal last year that I would either find a company or learn how to rank websites by the end of January, and this was before I even found you guys. And almost bang on the button, by the end of January, my site was ranking #1 for all these different terms, and it was about 2 or 3 weeks after that I got this client.
That's so cool. I love that, and I love that you just did it. I love that you just, because there's so much power, in being able to rank. There's so much raw value to it. David Mills and I talk about it sometimes with Greg, and there's all kinds of coaching programs out there, all kinds of training programs out there, and sometimes somebody really is just some sales expertise away from being able to make money. Sometimes they already have customers coming and they just need to sell them, and that's great. But gosh, being able to rank a website, I mean, how does that make you feel, just knowing that you just know how to do it?
Well, I think really it's been a complete game changer for me, in the sense that in the past, when I was going out trying to sell training, I would try and track down a client, I would hound them down and try and beat them into submission to do business with me. And somewhere along that process, if somebody could come in and upset that process, and I could spend weeks, maybe months, trying to track down a corporate client and get nothing at the end of it. Whereas now, I don't have any of that worry, because all I have to do is look back 2 or 3 pages and see lists and lists of people who would take the place of somebody who won't take my offer. So I don't feel the need to chase anybody anymore. In fact, I'm starting to turn the tables on them, where I tell them what the offer is, I get them excited about the potential traffic, and then I just tell them that if you don't take this, I'm going to offer this to your competitors. And that seems to have a huge impact on my mindset, to the point where I'm not chasing money now, and if anything, money is actually starting to come over in everything that I do, and money seems to be chasing me now because of that, and that's something I would never have been able to do without being part of OMG.
That's amazing. I love hearing what you're saying. I think that's really inspiring. So are you branching out and actually starting to do SEO consulting yourself now?
Well, I've sold the site already. And this is a strange thing. Again, it was purely to the shift in mindset. Like, in the past, I was quite a well-known stage hypnotist over here, and I used to do a lot of theatres and things like that. And at the moment, it's currently popular. A lot of people are going out and they're learning hypnosis, and they find out who I am, and they tend to contact me. And in the past, I ignored these people because I don't want to go out and have coffee and talk about stage hypnosis and things like that. So this one guy has been trying to contact me for quite a while through LinkedIn, and I just kept ignoring request to become part of my network. He's a local guy who obviously just learned hypnosis. So with this change in mindset, I thought, well, let's have a look at his profile. And I found out he had a driving school. And I found out that his driving school was like 12 pages back in Google.
Huh.
So I did a keyword search, and I took a screenshot of the actual searches, and it was quite a lot. For one of the main terms, it was 1,000 exact matches,
Wow.
5,000 broad.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, so the driving school's quite a big market. So I put all that together with them. First of all, I allowed them into the network, and sure as exactly what I thought, the first thing he did was send me an email, ask to meet me for a coffee, so he could pick my brain about stage hypnosis. Well, in the past I would have ignored it, but this time I thought, and this kind of attitude has been developing since I've been with OMG. So I said I would be happy to meet him for a coffee, but my fee to meet him for a coffee would be £1,200.
What?
I did that, and I actually thought that
What?
I thought that would put him off.
I would think so.
This is the thing. Within 10 minutes of doing that, I got an email saying he'd be happy to pay me.
What?
He said he would be happy. This is what I mean. The thing is, right?
I love this idea. Like really placing. There was a shift in my life. I remember I was doing launches, and I was doing launches for people. This is back in like 2006, and I was just doing launch after launch, and it was weird because everyone knew that launches were valuable. Everyone knew that I knew how to do them, but somehow it was just always a hassle. The money side of things was always a hassle. And eventually I just got sick of it. I got sick of, it was hard work. I felt like underappreciated. And eventually I just said, look, if you want to even have me look at your launch, you've got to write me a check for $10,000. And the first person who did that, we did a $14 million launch with them. That was the StomperNet. That's what happened. That's how me and David Mills wound up doing the StomperNet, $14 million day was, and it also got rid of some tire kickers. It got rid of some people who just didn't want to deal with it. And that's it. I just wrote a letter and I said, this is what I want. This is why. And so that's great. So he pays you £1,200.
Well, the thing was, the thing is, at the moment, I'm really keen to get a portfolio of websites.
Yeah.
And so what I basically did was I actually persuaded him. He told me he didn't have a lot of money, so I actually persuaded him that it'd be better to work on his driving school first.
I love it. That's good for you.
Because once he actually makes money from the driving school, I know he'll pay me for the hypnosis anyway.
Yeah, sure.
So so basically I pointed out the problems he had with his website, and he recently had a problem with Google, and his Google Places, he had two websites. He had a hypnosis website, and he had his driving school website, and he had the double listing. So Google kind of just put him right out of the picture.
Right.
So one of the things I was able to do really quickly with the information that I've learned with SEO was to demonstrate my competency in SEO, which is basically, it's just something I've been only doing for a couple of months. But I was able to tell him exactly where he had went wrong and what he needed to do to start ranking again. And I also told him that the best idea would be to have an EMD site, a lead generation site. So so the idea was, I really wanted to sell him the site because that's where I want to get started. So I had a meeting with him for a coffee, and he also booked he actually booked some personal therapy with me, and he's got the money to pay for a site. So I got £250 off him for the deposit for the site.
Nice.
With the understanding that the site will cost around an additional £1,500 with an ongoing SEO contract. That was an idea I got from Gary Qzx899 on the group.
That's right.
And the next again day, the £250 was in my bank.
Yeah, that's great.
So I also put together a long-term plan where we could also rebuild his old site, and we could also rank videos, so we could start to take multiple spots on the first page.
Great.
And so he was really happy with that, because the story he told me was one of his competitors at one point was getting over 2,000 hits a month through the driving instruction. So the potential to make money and employ other driving instructors is quite big.
Yeah.
So I had another meeting with him a couple of days ago, and he's so excited about this now. He's actually demanding 2 more sites from me now, and I'm having to slow him down and say, look, let's get the first site working first.
Yeah, that's great.
So he wants to get involved in franchises further down the line, and franchise the south to other cities. Now, I don't know if it'll go that far, but potentially have another long-term client. And the first client is the same. He's in the recruitment industry, and he basically places candidates at quite high levels, and he also wants to employ people, and he wants to get me involved in that as well. So right away, potentially I've got two long-term clients, and I've got my first sale for an OMG site as well. So that's quite good.
Oh, that's wonderful! Wow, that's really great. I love the idea of the shift in mindset and just really understanding.
It's been huge. It's huge for me. It's been huge.
Yeah, and also just literally understanding that your time is valuable, not because not because you read The Secret and The Secret told you your time is valuable, but because you know how to put a website together. Your time, your time plus your focus plus a few dollars equals website number 1 for keyword after keyword after keyword, including videos, including local listings. You now have the skill set to dominate page 1, to make a website look great. Go ahead.
One of the things as well, which I think for the OMG, which makes this a really powerful sales tool or a powerful business to get in, is it's so easy to impress clients. You don't have to go through any long sales presentation. You don't really have to educate them. All you have to do is just show them the figures, show them the actual. If you can actually find a niche that has quite a reasonable search amount of traffic, and you put that right underneath somebody's nose and show them the reasons why they aren't getting it, they're already sold. You don't have to do any more. That's been my experience so far.
Yeah, that's really true. Well, this is just really wonderful. Do you have any message for somebody who's thinking about joining OMG or thinking about joining NHB, and things that you think that they should know to help them be successful with it?
Well, the thing is, it's just exactly what you said. Just get started on something. Get started on anything. But the one thing I've always believed in, and I've used this in the past, and I do it with my clients, is if you want to be successful at anything, you have to associate with people who are already successful. And one of the reasons why I stopped networking locally a long time ago was because the people that I was networking with were people who were all starving and were all in the same boat. And they generally meet up to comfort each other, and they generally keep everybody stuck.
Right.
And one of the reasons why I really value the Facebook group is because it allows me to actually network with people who are below me at the same level and much higher than me. So it allows me to raise my game just by associating with these people. It does affect mindset. The second thing I would say is that being able to associate with people like you and Greg is a great opportunity that shouldn't be really undervalued. And one of the things that I did right from the start is...
Go ahead.
Right, okay. The one thing I would advise anybody starting out on, and I've noticed in the group, a lot of people don't stick to this, and this is why they're getting into problems. And the number one thing I would suggest is really understand that Greg is so successful at what he does because he knows what he's doing, and he's actually laid out an amazing blueprint. And if you want to have the same success as Greg, take things really, really slowly, work your way through the original video book, and build your site step by step, really slowly, and go through the exact same order that Greg lays things out with the UAW, 3 submissions, etc. If you do exactly what Greg says, you can't fail.
Yeah, I really agree. I see, unfortunately, it's very rare that I get somebody who will write in and say that OMG didn't work. And if I ask them, it's always because they didn't do it. Like, literally, nobody actually did it, and then it didn't work. It's only people who didn't do it, and then it didn't work.
Well, I notice that some people are they're taking a little bit longer, but the reason why they're taking longer is they're jumping ahead.
Yeah.
And they're not doing things exactly in the right order, and they're missing little bits out. And it can just be really small, subtle things that make a huge difference, I think. Yeah,
I agree with that. Well, that's I think that's just extremely valuable for people. Just to know that it's not so much that you get inside and then you will get good feelings. It will be motivating. Those things are all true, but also frickin' do what Greg says.
Oh,
Like, do what he says step by step.
definitely.
And
I don't listen to anybody else on the forum. I just go by everything Greg says because he's the guy that's done it. He's the guy that.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
we're so lucky to be able to get access to somebody who's done what he's done.
Yeah, yeah, and he just does SEO, whatever it is, 12 hours a day. He just does it, just day after day, and that's the way that OMG is set up. You know, we didn't set Greg up to have to be. He doesn't have to network with other gurus. He doesn't have to. Like, all he does is SEO himself on his own business, and then help other people like you who are in the NHB group, and that's all he does with his work hours. So his work hours wind up being essentially 100% SEO. He's either doing SEO himself, which is the main course, or spending a few hours a day helping other people SEO, which of course makes him better at SEO, either creating training videos or examples or answering specific questions point by point, office hours. What do you think of the office hours, by the way?
I think the office hours are brilliant, especially at the beginning. I mean, what I found with me personally was probably like the majority of people, it's the really simple questions once they're answered have the huge impact. And to have the office hours and also have access to Greg just to answer simple questions has been really big, huge. I would never have got this far if I hadn't done the actual coaching program. And the actual coaching program itself has just been put together so well that, I mean, you and Greg have a real talent for putting information down in such a way that again, if people do take their time and absorb it really slowly, you can't fail to get the results that you're looking for.
Well, Greg and I have a secret hack ourselves. We do work hard, and I think that we're both quite talented. But we have, you know, David Mills really plans it for us, and we really let him plan it. You know, we really work with him, and he's just so brilliant at it. And you know, David wrote the Commission Conspiracy Path, and I think that anyone who reads that path will kind of recognize the David's particular brilliance when it comes to that. So that's not necessarily enough. You saying that in my mind is automatically certainly a testimonial to me and to Greg and to the wonderful. We really have a wonderful culture, you know, in our group. So it's really a testimony to everybody, but it's kind of especially a testimony to the architect of NHB. The person who first envisioned it was David Mills. He was the person who thought of the idea of NHB in the first place and who structured it, who structured the office hours, who structured the training. The Facebook group, the video training inside of it, really worked with me and Greg in detail on the lessons to make sure that the lessons are just spot on, that they're updated. He's the one who created the membership area, who updates the videos. So he's really, it's really a three-man gang, I guess.
I guess I didn't mention David is because he doesn't face the group. We don't see him, so
yeah.
We tend to forget that he's in the background. But yeah, I mean, he's done an absolutely fantastic job. On that side, everything is just so easy to use.
Oh, I love that. I love hearing you say that. Well, this is this is all music to my ears, and this is a real pick me up today. Not that I was down; I was actually feeling great. But I was actually creating training while I was talking to you. I was writing the Path Part 2. And I was just thinking about, you know, some of the struggles that I've had in business and some of the triumphs I've had in business. I've really been focused on it. So it's one of the things I was struck with today. You know, there's a particularly successful business, the Area 51 lifestyle business that I'm writing about right now. It really turned out particularly successful, but there were so many points at it that it really looked. It could look like a failure. You know, ultimately it's $1 million business. But so many times the answers were not obvious. You know, so many times there were so many closed doors, and only one open door. And we had to get to that one open door. And I love how you found your open door with just taking a site and just getting it ranked, just getting it out there. And go ahead.
There's another story about, if you've got the time, just a quick
story
just to show you what I have done recently. Again, I mean, it could be it might be that I might be getting my first client through LinkedIn again. I mean, I'm finding these clients without leaving my house. That's the other thing that's quite powerful about this. I started working on a personal injury lawyer website, and
Nice.
And then
I'm doing that too. That's funny.
Yeah, well, I seen it was at your Seattle. Was it the Seattle one?
Yeah, we also have one in Charlottesville.
Charlottesville, yeah, that's
yeah.
right. I had a look at that the other day, and it kind of it really helped me just to see what you had done.
Nice.
But what I did was I actually remember a number of. This is a good bit of advice for some people as well. If you're in, join LinkedIn if you're not already in it, and start to join some of the local online networking groups, because you get invited to different events. And so I noticed that one of the big legal companies locally had a seminar on the legal side of sports. It was to help sports clubs prevent getting sued for personal injury, etc. And the personal injury lawyer was going to be there. So I just emailed them and asked them for a place. And it's quite strange. So what I basically did, again, I found out that they weren't ranking for any of the terms. They weren't anywhere to be seen for any of the personal injury terms. And again, I did the same thing. Took a screenshot of the actual Google keyword results, which were quite impressive, and made a number of copies and went along to the seminar. And as soon as I was in the door, I just grabbed hold of the lawyer, found out who she was, and right away, it was pretty obvious they didn't have a clue. Just by showing her the figures, she was completely blown away.
Yeah, because she's a lawyer. She doesn't know how many people are searching for that. I mean, it sounds good to rank for it, but what does it mean?
Exactly. Now, the thing was, in this room, it wasn't just personal injury. There was the people from the real estate department, people from different kinds of insurances, etc. And the guy from real estate came up and asked me, "Do you know anything about real estate too?" So it was like, and there was no cold calling, there was no picking up the phone, there was nothing like that.
Yeah.
It was just being invited along to the seminar, and this is all through LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And I think LinkedIn is a great way to spot opportunities.
Yeah.
If you just think outside the box.
Tony Husted from NHB, he's also landed a number of clients through LinkedIn. So I think you're really onto something with that. I mean, I'll tell you one thing that I've learned about marketing and about sales. Let's imagine that there's 10 sales out there for you to make, 10 high dollar sales. If it might be that you could make, say 3 or 5 of those sales face-to-face, person-to-person, and then the rest of the sales might be available just through your website where they just pick up the phone, call you, and order. So if you imagine it that way. But the funny thing is, if you don't do those 3 to 5 personal sales, then it's a weird effect, but all the sales go away. And it's a weird thing to say. It's a little hard for me to explain why this is. I first observed it in my magic business, where me and David Mills were teaching a magic strategy course, and I would go online to play magic just to create training videos, and I would just put like a little thing in my profile saying, "Hey, I've got a course," and people would ask me about that course. And if I would sell a person that day, if I would just, and really selling them just meant taking the time just to talk to them and explain what's there and ask them to buy it. If I'd make a sale, I would make several sales that day. And every time I turned my nose up at it, every time I didn't do it, like that same day I would have no sales. And again, it could really seem like, that's such a small sample. So, okay, that's fine. But it's happened again and again and again. Every industry that I go to, relationship advice, make money online, gold, everywhere. When someone's curious, they email me. If I talk back to them and help sell them on something, then not only do they buy, which is great, but other people buy it. And there's obvious reasons for that. One is that you get better at selling. You believe in your product more. There's word of mouth. All these things matter, but I do think that there's a certain element of the law of attraction there, where,
yeah, definitely.
If you care about it, I've said this before, but I made a slight modification to it. I say people respect what you inspect, but now I say people respect what you inspect, including you.
Uh-huh.
So if you see yourself caring about getting clients, you will get clients. right? Like you, because you see yourself doing it, and so your personal resources get attuned to that, right? Your awareness gets opened up to it. You know, your personal devices, your energy, your whatever it is that you have to bring to bear on it expands.
I mean, I actually, one of the businesses I had, and still do, is I actually do teach persuasion techniques, and I've worked with all different kinds of salespeople and consultants, and I personally believe that that the very persuasion at the very basic level is just two people, one sends energy, one person receives the energy, and they make their decision based upon how they feel about you and your products. And so if you feel anxious or you feel down, the person at the other end will have the same, they'll pick up on the same feeling, and they'll associate to you in your products. So when you feel really good, they feel good, and people buy.
Yeah.
Then
I
think it's
go ahead.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I read a book by a really one of the top trial lawyers of all time. One of the top, he goes to court and argues. His name is Jerry Spence. He's very, very famous top level lawyer, and he says that everything that he knows about persuasion he learned from his dog. Like his dog just walks up to him and sticks his paw in his lap, because he wants to go out for a walk or for food, and that's it. He just comes up and he just plainly asks for what he wants, and that's it. And he does the same thing when he's asking, in a court, if he's asking for a verdict, if he's asking for, money from jurors, he asks for it. He just says, "Yeah, give my client $1 million. They deserve it."
There's also something that I've discovered, and it's too soon to see if it's going to be long term. But when I joined the OMG, it was like a light switch in my head that basically overnight I stopped chasing clients completely. In fact, initially I just wanted to get absorbed in the technical side, and I didn't want to deal with any clients from other types of business. But when that client came through the website that had been ranked, it was almost like I didn't actually want to meet him because I was too absorbed in learning these new skills, and it was almost like I actually without realising it, I put obstacles in front of him to make it difficult to do business with me. And the more obstacles I put in front of these clients that were coming in the way rather than me chasing, the more they seem to want to do business with me. And it's been the same with the driving school, where initially he wanted to meet me for a coffee, and I asked him for £1,200.
Yeah.
And I thought that would have got rid of him, but in actual fact, it actually made him even more determined to meet me.
Yeah.
And and what I found is, where there's been a change in my mindset and my approaches, I actually make it difficult for people to do business with me. Now, I don't show that I'm too keen, and I actually almost tell them to go away at the beginning, and I've done this in the past purely by mistake, and every time I've done it, I find that people hunt you down and they literally force you to take their money off them.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping that this is something I can build up and scale up.
Well, and I think that one of the things that I've learned is that a high quality client is worth so much more. Not that they're high quality in terms of their moral worth or their value to God or anything like that. It's as we're recording this, it's Good Friday, and I'm certainly thinking about Jesus and all these kinds of things. But it's not about that. What I mean is, are they high caliber in their business? Are they going to treat you well? And a good client is worth not even worth many bad clients, but like really bad clients have negative value. Even if you get some money from them, they drag you down, they distract you, they waste your time. You get tied up in their bad feelings, and people will ask me like, well, what about if I don't get the deal? And I say, well, then you'll have more time on your hands. That's great, right? Like think about it, right? Like if you if you don't get the bad deal, then you have more time to build up your skills or to build up your rankings or go read a good book. That's just the bottom line. And nowadays I don't almost take on. We take on very, very few projects at this point. We're very, very selective. I'm fast to lose a client or a partner and slow to gain one, if that makes sense. I'm eager to, so I think that there's some real value to what you're saying, and that you're on a good track with that. And Brian, I just want to thank you sincerely. Like this has been really, really great. I think you've been somebody different than when we've been doing these co-conspirators reports. We've had such a wonderful range of people, but you're really coming from a great place, and I think that this was valuable in a very different way. Every one of these co-conspirators field trainings and field reports have been different, and they've taught me something. And of course, it's very nice for me to see you on your path to inevitable success and to see you gaining. And so I want to thank you for this.
Yeah, and I want to thank you for OMG, because it has been a complete game changer for me. It's completely opened up a new world to me. And I'm actually really looking forward to the next 6 months instead of dreading them. I was in a really bad place last year, and OMG has really helped lift me out of that place.
I'm so glad to hear that, Brian. All right, well, thank you very much, and I will see you inside of NHB.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.